EuroGotit here, man. Already verified, but right now I'm getting verified by TheC&PNetwork. Make sure you hit that like, comment. Don't leave until you subscribe.
What's happening? What's happening? Back again for another episode of Verified with Cornell the Shooter on the TheC&PNetwork. You already know. If you're following, if you subscribed, I appreciate it. If you're not, what are you doing? Hit that follow button, hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to leave a comment, turn that notification bell on. All right, another special guest. First official interview of 2025. I'm sitting down with none other than EuroGotit. Brody, what's happening?
What's going on, family?
Man, I can't complain, bro. I appreciate you taking your time out, sitting down with me. You told me earlier it's your son's birthday, bro.
Yes, sir.
Decided to share a little bit of your time with me, bro, and I
Yes,
appreciate
sir.
it.
Yes, sir.
What I like to do is get everybody adjusted to who you are,
For
and then I'm
sure.
gonna hit you with hard-hitting questions. Cool?
Let's get it. Let's get
All
it.
right, Brody. Where exactly are you from?
From the west side of Atlanta, born and raised.
West side? Give me a little more precise. So when you
A
say
little more
west side, you're
precise?
the west side of Atlanta.
Hey, man, the west side is the history of Atlanta. You know, you do got East Atlanta. Shout out East Atlanta. But I'm from the west side, where projects started. Yeah, we made high school graduate, went to Morehouse for a minute. Simpson Road to be exact, where I'm from. The one, zone one, got to know
There you
that.
go. Okay.
Come on.
You know, when you in the city and somebody says west side, like you said, very broad.
Very broad. Yeah,
Start
yeah,
saying
yeah.
zone one, when you start saying, Simpson Road, Bourne Homes, though,
Yeah.
when you start dropping stuff like that, then people know, okay, I know
Well,
exactly where
I'm
bro's from.
gonna give it to you like this: a true West Side person would just tell you the West Side because we embrace everybody. If you from Atlanta, Zone 1 ain't no different from Zone 3, Zone 4, Zone 2. I don't care. It's like you from the West, you understand what's going on. We all family. So but if we want to get a little more in depth, Zone 1 to be exact.
There you go. There you go. So what was it like growing up on the west side of Atlanta?
I stayed on the west side of Atlanta for about 9 years, and then I ended up going over to the east where I stayed. I want to say the next 15 years or so like that. I pretty much grew up on the east side, but because of the fact that I'm from the west side, everything I did, like when it was time to go outside, if I wasn't playing in the neighborhood, I was on the west side, hop on the train, back on the west side, Brown Middle School, Beach Hill Elementary. Um, it's what cultured me, is what taught me what the street lifestyle is about, the urban lifestyle. Uh, a lot of people know I grew up in the church. So growing up in the church, I wasn't exposed to much. I didn't listen to rap. I wasn't allowed to listen to rap. I wasn't really allowed to indulge in like the cultural things we did coming up as kids. And that was just part of my dad being from the streets and my mom having a structured background. That's just part of like trying to raise your children in a better lifestyle and stuff like that. So for me, it was a little different. I didn't. Fortunately, the West Side was the reason why I didn't have too much of a culture shock when I did decide. By the time I was 18, like yeah, I'm jumping straight off the porch and we outside. So by that time, I was already being groomed by the things that I saw coming from the West Side. So yeah, West Side prepped me for life.
Dig it.
Made EuroGotit.
Dig it. Being from ATL and from your point of view, when people, like, a lot of them originally from here say they miss old Atlanta, comparing to how ATL is now and when you was coming up, what do they mean by they miss old Atlanta?
Old Atlanta was just different. Shout out Tetwood. Tetwood, that's where my original song, shout out Corey, Coach Cheese, Jeff, the Great, Keon, Jacquay, the whole Nelson family. That was pretty much my introduction to how I came about with the Posse record. Like they called me Posse, but that was the original Tetwood. Tetwood was the first hood we had in Atlanta. And although I'm not from Tetwood, and by the time I spent a lot of time as a kid in like University Home, John Hope, over in that area and stuff like that, with my pops, Josie Larry. So I wasn't over in Tetwood, but the way I was embraced once I started doing music, it was like posse was everything. Like your posse was your family, like those your dogs. And so it was just like, we so used to the term my nigga and my homie and my partner and stuff like that. Posse was just something different. I wasn't hearing it like that. So it was like, when I first got my first break, it was like the only thing I could think about is like where it all started. It all started with my posse. So Yeah, that's
That's
what it
hard. Like
was.
I ain't gonna cap. I didn't know where that came from.
That was Posse, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know where
Posse.
that came
That's
from.
like my partner, my family.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm more familiar with the, like you said, the partner.
My
You know what I
partner,
mean?
Shawty,
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? My
shouted.
boy, yeah.
But okay, that
Yeah.
makes
So
sense though.
it's so with that, the new Atlanta, I mean, I don't knock it because you can't stop evolution. People evolve. However, I feel like it was definitely a lot more love shown back in the old Atlanta days. Like the old Atlanta, it was honestly a lot more thorough. People lived by the codes, and I understand, you know, codes don't too much matter no more in these days to some people, but um, you know, your face was saved based off the fact that it wasn't no social media presence. So without social media presence, it was only your face card. And your face card meant everything, standing by your morals, standing by your principles. You was a snitch. It wasn't no, oh, you can get on social media and make it look good, so we're gonna say don't worry about it. You was a snitch, it don't care, and we don't care how good your music is, it was just that's what you were. And I'm
Right.
just using that terminology, just it don't matter what you were. You a flaw, you a flaw.
Right.
Face card was your social media presence back then. So that was the difference with the old Atlanta versus the new Atlanta. A lot of the OGs back then really wanted to see better for the youth. Whereas now it's like the youth is the one in control right now. So it's like it is what it is. It ain't no OGs no more. They done tore down a lot of hoods. They done tore down a lot. You know, it was just it was more of a village, bro. Like realistically, it was more of a village. And despite our circumstances, everybody still ultimately wanted to see each other do better.
Mm.
And that's what the old Atlanta was about. Like, regardless of how you came out, it was somebody in your corner. Like, you know, me being a man, I was introduced to dope. I was introduced to guns, violence, all kind of stuff. But in the midst of the people that still introduced it to me, the message that they were leaving was like, don't fall victim to what we got going on. This is our lifestyle, but it
Okay.
ain't got to be yours.
Right.
And but that's what made me still embrace them more as family because I knew they were teaching me the right way. Unfortunately, these were just the only people I had teaching me the right way. So I'm paying attention to what they doing and not listening to what I'm hearing. So
No, that makes sense.
yeah,
That's man, that's real though. Like you said, you know, when I was coming up, I would claim up in Atlanta. I was Southwest Atlanta. Like you said, you had your OGs
you
that
had
you
them.
had respect
Yeah,
for.
yeah,
Now it's the YNs running
yeah,
everything.
yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean? I can see that.
yeah,
Uh, you said earlier you grew up in the church.
yeah.
What denomination were you?
Apostolic.
Okay.
Apostolic is strictly Bible.
Yeah.
No pants, no earrings, no worldly music, no jazz. Uh, be honest, it's cult, bro. Culty. It was more on like abiding by a structure. It was more of like controlling by fear more than it was God, because the pastor and the people that had jurisdiction in the church, they were more so like God. So you know, out of all my siblings, I'm like one of the few to make it out. So
Right.
yeah,
So do you practice religion now?
no, not at all. I'm totally spiritual.
That's it.
Like
So I
I'm
asked that question a certain way, and
yes,
you answered it.
I
Okay,
appreciate
that's
that.
where I'm at.
I appreciate that.
No, I
Very
asked that question a
spiritual.
certain way. That's what's
Yes,
up.
God is no denomination. To be
I'm
honest
telling you.
with you, anything that causes division is not of God.
I
So
mean, if you think back though, I mean, Jesus said it. You know, anything like you said, anything that causes
anything that causes
any
division,
kingdom divided amongst itself won't stand.
it won't
So when you
stand.
sit there and you start talking about I'm Baptist, I'm First
When
Baptist,
you label
there
yourself,
you
you
go. You
causing division.
dividing.
Yes,
No, that's
yes,
yeah.
yes,
No, that's you know what he's talking about. That's what's
yes,
up.
yes, sir.
Uh, yeah. Give me a memory from your childhood that will stick with you forever. Now it can be positive, negative, uh, happy, sad, but something that will stick with you forever.
Hmm.
And it don't necessarily have to involve you. It can be something you've seen.
I done seen a lot. I done seen a lot. I think one thing that stuck with me was I remember my mom used to always try to make me do like hard labor, like shoveling. Not saying I didn't, but it was like my mom always wanted me to work hard enough to have calluses on my hand because that's was her definition of a hardworking man. And I just remember like, you know, I had a thing where I was very careful. I tread light on how I talked to my mom because growing up in the church, you really wasn't allowed to have a voice for yourself. You was taught to just be whatever said is what said. So one day I kind of mustered up the courage and I said it respectfully, but my mom was like, what's wrong with your hands, boy? Like, you ain't got enough cash. You got to get out here and do some work. And I told my mom, like, I'm always going to work hard in life. I'm just not going to work hard how you think. Like, I'm not a laborer, man. Like, I sign checks. I'm a boss. Like, I know what I'm going to do when I
How
get
old were
older.
you then?
I was probably about like 11, 12. And I just told her, I was like, I'm going to work hard. I'm always going to work hard. But I'm never, and to this day, I do labor work, but the labor work that I do, if I'm cutting grass, I'm cutting my yards while I'm giving God thanks, because I'm like, thank God I got yards to cut. Washing my cars, I'm washing the car, giving thanks for showing gratitude in the things that God allowed me to see. But, it wasn't until like, I want to say probably about 2 years ago, we was out at a family out and eating, and my mom was like, man, I'll never forget, you told me you weren't going to do it. And I didn't think it was gonna work for you, but it worked. But that's always been my go-to. I use this move before I use my whole body.
I mean,
Yeah, I ain't breaking myself down like that.
I ain't mad at
For
you.
sure.
I ain't mad at you. So you grew up with both parents living in the same home.
hmm
Uh, how do you feel? How do you feel that the fact you had both of your parents living home? How do you feel like it affected your childhood coming up?
Um, it was both a positive and a negative. The positive I seen in it, I was very optimistic, in which I believed, I thought that I shouldn't use the terminology I was poor or I wasn't well off, because of one, I had both my parents in the house, and two, we also went to church. So for me, it was like, me knowing that there were people in worse situations than me, I was like, well, I can't rap about it. I can't. But, upon going to therapy, it wasn't until I realized I was in a broken home. I had my dad, but that's all I had. Like, my dad wasn't present the way I needed him to be present. He was there, but he did all that he knew how to do, because his dad wasn't there. His dad abused my grandma until he left the house, and then that was that. So with my dad being the first in the family to say, I'm going to stay for my kids, he didn't know how to raise his kids. He didn't know how to be a dad, but he did the best that he could. My mom, to this day, I love my mom, but we don't have the best relationship. Sometimes as people get older, you just don't realize until you're an adult yourself that people have like certain things that they got to get handled for themselves. So mentally, I hate to say this, but with all due respect to my mom, like, she just wasn't never mentally there. So, I suffered from a lot of mental abuse, a lot of physical abuse, and a lot of it I think was traumas that she was dealing with from within, and things that she probably didn't accept from my dad, or me being too much like my dad. Like, so yeah, I realized, being growing up in the church, having the type of upbringing that I had, it kind of like threw me out there to the wolves, to where I felt naive and gullible to a lot of things.
Mm,
Um, I felt like I was sure about a lot of things, but I felt like I was sure because being taught not to question things, it's either yes or no that you tell yourself.
mm.
So it was like, for me, I wasn't really a good judgment of character when it came to people. I attracted a lot of people that was similar to my mom, in a sense of, I didn't get attention from my mom growing up. So everybody that I attracted, whether it's girlfriend, whether it's friends, whether it's business partners, they had that same narcissistic trait, because I was always trying to fix something that was never fixed with my mom. Um, yeah, so my upbringing, it wasn't the best. I wouldn't say it's the worst. It was the it would I wouldn't say it was the worst, but I felt like it was a bad enough situation to form me into the individual I am today.
Gotcha.
So it definitely worked.
Dig it.
It worked.
Uh, I heard you say you don't have the best relationship with your mom.
Yeah.
What is your relationship like with your father?
Um, my dad tried to my I just realized I had to accept my dad for years. Like, he called every week, he texts like almost every morning, like, I love you and stuff. I think he proud, but I think he does what he's able to do. Like, my dad instilled in me what he wasn't able to become. And at that time, being young, I didn't know that. I just kind of felt like everything that came out of his mouth was what he was living by.
Right.
But so I end up living by those standards, which helped me exceed how my dad actually is. Like,
Right.
he I got 6 kids, and like, he don't, they both in Atlanta. My mom stay like 8 minutes. don't call, don't check on their grandkids. My dad, he drop around every blue moon, but it's kind of like you just learn to accept people for what they got to offer, because it's just they ain't got it in them to be the man that I could. But I'm glad that they gave me that opportunity to be the individual I am. So I'm better than both of my parents, but I don't hold it against them. You just got to understand where people are in their life and just accept what they got to offer.
No, that's real.
Yeah.
That's real. So, how would you describe a young EuroGotit in high school?
In high school, I always wanted to be different. If I ask myself, like, I haven't heard other people say it, but if I ask myself, I always say I was lame. That's how I feel. I felt like I was lame. I wasn't lame, but I felt like I was lame because in the midst of wanting to be different, I hated the fact that I think I already knew, like, everybody that was cool in high school. I hate to say it, I just knew they were gonna be lame in life. And it ain't to downplay them. It's just sometimes I wasn't never the one to get caught up in the era that I am. It's like life continues to transition, and I know that. But I already saw that was a dead end for a lot of people, because the people who wasn't cool was thinking other people who wasn't cool was cool. So they clicked up and thought they were cool. But you see them today on Facebook, they ain't even on Instagram. Like, they on Facebook living their best life. Like, y'all remember this 20 years, bro. That time gone, bro. Like,
Right.
and that's kind of how it was. Like, I knew it was gonna come to that. But for me, I felt like I was lame because it was like I was different, bro. I was like, I came to school, suit and tie, briefcase sometime. Like, I think I wanted to be respected for being different. And I think that, like, sometimes I don't feel like I did too much, but I feel like I didn't validate myself because I already wasn't getting validation at home. So it was like, coming to school, you would hope that people would embrace you the same way that they, like family would embrace you. The way I see people embracing, oh man, you got this on, you this person, you this, that person. But mind you, when I talk to people, it was like I wasn't lame. Like, people knew me and stuff like that, but it's just, that's how I felt about it.
Right.
I was really just trying to make my way, bro. Like, not feeling like I was completely accepted at home, and then coming to school trying to find acceptance. I wasn't never no bandwagon dude, though. Like, I ain't jumping on no bandwagon. We ain't doing what everybody else doing. So, I mean, outside the whatever the trend was going on, I was part of it. But at the same time, I just always wanted to be different because I just knew I wasn't into that. I wasn't part of that in crowd. So however I can get my attention and recognition, I wasn't finna do no goofy stuff, but
Right.
I moved a little different.
Dig it.
Yeah,
So you said earlier, you graduated, you went to Morehouse. Did you graduate from Morehouse?
I didn't.
Okay.
That was a transition. A lot of stuff stemmed back to the project. Um, a lot of people take, like, terms for just terms. The project is deeper than a place to stay. It's an environment that was created by the government to eliminate the opportunities of a black man becoming successful. So it's so many things that play into a factor as to why a black man has a hard time graduating college, let alone finish school, high school, anything of that matter. From disciplinary actions to not enough food in the house, to not enough financial support, to not enough emotional support, to not enough I love you. It's just a lot that play into a hard life of being a black man. And, despite the fact that I didn't stay in the projects, coming from a project like environment, having government assistance and stuff like that, it was just like, bro, it was so hard, like, trying to do the right thing, but realizing, like, I just didn't have the means. So, like, when I jumped off the porch, um, like, not, it's nothing to brag about it at this point, like, but robbing was my thing. Like, and it like, I was never known in the street. Like, a lot of people probably in Atlanta, like, we don't know him for robbing, but you weren't supposed to know me for I wasn't robbing for you. I had a little brother that was hungry. Like, I'm solely taking care of my brother. You wouldn't know, but then you got a thing too where it's like a lot of people glorify, like, being known. Oh yeah, I know, we know Shawty for a jack, boy. We know him for selling dope. Why though?
Right.
Why is that? Like, that shouldn't be your title. That wasn't never my title. I didn't never like I didn't justify robbing by taking from people that I knew was doing right, because I still had, like, morals. It was just I'm hungry. Like, We ain't got no food. I can't get a job. I'm trying to do my best to stay in school. The streets calling. There's money out here to make. I can't get no money to get no cheeseburger. I don't have like financial assistance to be able to like eat in the cafeteria. It was just a lot, bro. So it was like it started with weed. Weed wasn't helping with nothing. Then it's started with selling dope, and after selling dope, it was like it just graduated to try to make more money. But it's like it started off just picking from crumb to crumb to crumb, and next thing you know, you out here like you head deep in the streets, like you knee deep outside, like, and it's like it was an unintentional thing. So it was, when it came down to trying to like balance staying in school, mind you, I'm still in the hood because I'm from here. So although I went to Morehouse, I was trying to go to Morehouse, but a lot of people who, they say criminals are like some of the smartest people. School wasn't never hard for me. I went through school honor student the whole time. It was just my actions. Like now that school is born, writing a 20-page paper ain't nothing. I write how I talk. So it's like it's easy like to just flow. I'm a English scholar, so I know how to, I know punctuations, I know what to check for grammatical errors, anything. Like that was just natural for me. So after you done with a paper, you trying to figure out like, damn, I'm hungry. But I ain't really got no money. And it's just kind of like, what do? I don't really have a job. If I got a job, the job don't pay but one time, and they giving you pennies on the dollar. It wasn't cutting it. So for me, it was just I just couldn't, like, I couldn't balance school and work. And then by the time I couldn't balance school and trying to make some money, so it was just by the time I just made the executive decision to stay, it was just like, too many things had transpired for me to even like consider school to be an option.
Gotcha.
So I fell victim to what was going on, like just trying to make some more money, bro, trying to survive, trying to live.
That's understandable.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Especially coming from this year, it's understandable.
Yeah.
So at what age would you say because you came up in the church, what age would you say you got involved in the streets? Quote unquote, jumped off the porch. At what age would you say?
Realistically, on my own, 18. I was exposed to it a lot earlier. I wasn't exposed to it in a manner of like my dad was bringing me around for like the glam life of it. It was just kind of like I see certain stuff, but I ain't never speak on it. I just watch certain things going on, and then it was just kind of like that was like the only time that I was really, because like in the corporate world, you don't see cash money. It's credit cards. You don't understand what credit cards are. But in the street world, they don't play with credit. At that time, it wasn't no scam.
Right.
So you just see stacks of money. That's what you think, like, oh, okay. So me seeing certain things and being exposed to certain things, when I needed money, I was already in the environment of the people that I knew that was getting money. So now that I'm 18, I'm grown. Hey, look, I don't stay at the house no more. I'm trying to figure out how to eat. And then the people were able to trust me because they knew I came over with my dad. They didn't like it, but at the same time, it was kind of like he a grown man, he can make his own decisions. And already knowing how my dad is, I wasn't brought up in like no rat type of energy or nothing like that. That snitching, all that stuff, it's been on it. So it's like I had a trust, like my face card was trusted. So it was just kind of like people just took me under their wing. When they took me under their wing, it was just like family. From there, it was just eating, just making some money.
Right.
However I can make some money.
Right.
Yeah.
So what would you say, because you say you've been around it, you waited till you were about 18. What was it about the streets that drew you in? Was there a lack there that you feel like you could feel in the streets, or what was it about the streets?
I didn't really want to go to the streets, to be honest with you, bro. I tried to play it safe because all I was doing at that time when I started out was just selling, to be honest with you. And I ain't like acting like I was no bag boy, like we selling bags and stuff. It wasn't even like that, bro. It was like, go get go get an ounce, bro. And just like, by the time I break that ounce down, I'm taking it to Morehouse because people don't want to leave off of campus. So I can hit them over the head because you ain't trying to go through the hood. You go to the hood, you might get robbed. You got anything go down. So if the hood coming to you, it's like, shoot, you got to pay that little interest so that way you don't have to go to the hood and shop with them folks. Like, I bring it to you. And so it was just like, it was a lot easier for me to eat because it was like, I made double what we were making in the streets. And then from there, it was just kind of like, when you start realizing how green people is and stuff like that, at first you want to keep it honest and be like, yeah, this, that, and the third. man, you go get you some mid and tell them folks it's this, that. They know it ain't that, but it's like, what you gonna do? At this point, you done already called me over here to buy some. So I'm finna sell you this $5 knit for $20. And you gonna buy it too, cause you already knowing like, damn, bro, from Atlanta, I don't want no problem. I'm talking about boo-boo mid too, like, but and so that's how it was though. So it was like, coming up like that, it was just like it started. It was just sweet, and then one thing led to another, and one thing about that street money come fast. So it's like it come fast, it go fast. So you ain't never got enough of it. Like, yeah, one thing lead to another, and you outside.
That's real.
Yeah,
October 16th, 2012.
yeah,
You will be booked into the DeKalb County Jail and charged with 2 counts of aggravated assault, 2 counts of armed robbery, 4 counts of possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony, and hijacking a motor vehicle.
yeah.
Uh,
Can't never forget that date. Indeed.
If you could you walk us through the day you were arrested?
Yeah, I actually can. Um, it was crazy, bro. When I tell you it was so crazy how that happened, I had literally was telling myself like, bro, I was just honestly at that point I was tired of it. I was just tired of the street life. I ain't got caught up for nothing major, but it was just like I was still
Your only
having,
arrest before then was what, the driving unlicensed, right?
huh?
The only arrest before then
Yeah,
was
yeah.
driving
Before then, we're
unlicensed.
driving up. I wasn't getting caught up. Yeah, my slate was fairly clean. Like I wasn't getting caught up for like no crazy stuff. Cause that was always my thing. Like I don't do stuff to get caught. I'm not trying to be this like street dude that everybody like.
Right.
I wasn't trying to make no name. I'm just trying to eat. I'm
Right.
trying to get my bread. So it's like my record outside of that was like clean outside little minor infractions. But um bro, I ain't gonna lie. It was like everything I had going on, I was still in a lot of trouble. I still had a lot of things that was like bearing on my soul that just wasn't right. So I woke up, told the chick I was dealing with at the time, like, man, I'm finna go to church. I was just like, I'm tired. I want to change. If things ain't going right, come on, go to church with me. So she was like, nah, I ain't gonna go today. And so that was, I'm like, dang, I wasn't gonna go myself. I was like, nah, that's the devil. Let me go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead to church. I get dressed, I leave. No gas in the car. I forgot my wallet. I said, dang, I'm about to run out of gas. I got enough gas to make it to church. And at that time, we ain't had cash out. There wasn't no cash out. So it was just like, I thought that was my sign that God was like, nah, you probably shouldn't drive. Don't go today. I was like, nah, that's the devil. I gotta go. And I remember hearing the word, and I told the dude, it was a guy from work that had invited me, and I had told him, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna be back next Sunday, bro. Like, I appreciate this. Like, I want to do the right thing. He told me, he said, bro, I never forget. He said, be careful what you say now. He said, I had another guy told me the same thing, and dude went to prison for life for murder. He had committed a murder that following week. Went to jail for murder. Um, and I was like, yeah, well, that ain't gonna be me. Like, I'm glad to be here. I got a decision to make to do the right thing. Lo and behold, like I feel like the test came. Mind you, I'm a street dude, so it's like a lick came, and it's like like it was just like this one more time. If I do this one more time, I'm finna
Right.
handle my business. I ain't been in no trouble with it before, so for me thinking it's a piece of cake, and it was just like lo and behold, before I even had anything to do with it, like the way I know karma real and I know how God worked, before I even had a chance, opportunity to have anything to do with it, I was the only one that got jammed up for the situation. The victim testified and stated that he knew it wasn't me because he seen the people who was involved face. I don't know who this guy is. DeKalb County still the justice system crooked as hell. We're gonna say that off bat because they didn't have nobody else. Because I ain't write no statement, I didn't testify. I already knew how the system worked, so it was kind of like the moment I tell y'all where I was. That's all y'all don't care if I wasn't there. A statement is enough to incriminate myself. I'm not giving you anything.
So what exactly, like, so the day of, did you get caught formulating a plan, or how did you end up arrested?
Man, I got wrong place, wrong time.
So they just picked you up, or?
They picked me up. They picked me up because it's like after everything transpired, I was still around the people.
Okay.
Wrong place, wrong time.
Gotcha.
So it was like after everything transpired, I'm just thinking, it was just I ended up not having nothing to do with it because I decided I wanted to back out of it last second.
Right.
Didn't happen that way.
But they were able to link you to knowing
They were
certain
able to.
individuals.
Well, no, because they ain't had nobody. It was
Oh.
just me. It was me. So I was fighting 2 life sentences for
Oh.
4 other people that was involved with it that they didn't have names to. So they was like, well, if you give us the name of those people, but I'm like, I can't give y'all nobody
Right.
because they didn't have anything on me. It was just kind of like,
You just saying I ain't do it. Well, who did? I can't.
but there you go.
Gotcha.
We know multiple people were involved. If they're saying you ain't involved, you know who was involved.
I got
That
you.
ain't my business though. I'm not a detective. So yeah, but that let me know karma was real because it's kind of like none of your deeds just go on. You got to pay for everything you do. You got to reap what you sow.
Right.
So I done sowed some seeds long before that it's time to reap for.
Right.
And it just so happens sometimes it's like we'll sit up here and get mad and golly, y'all want to pick me up for something I ain't did. I ain't do that. What you done before that God know about that these folk don't know about. So I knew I couldn't. I ain't had no room to complain.
Okay.
Y'all might not have me for this, but you know what I'm saying? Like God is in control of everything. So I knew what it was.
Dig it. So you were housed in the DeKalb County Jail. Many people are familiar with one of the 2 county jails in Atlanta. One being Fulton County,
Yeah,
aka
Wright
Wright
Street.
Street.
Yep.
It's known for housing people like T.I.,
Yep.
Young Thug, and the infamous Donald Trump mugshot. However, you have the DeKalb County Jail, which is known as Memorial, if you're from the city, and that's where you were housed at.
Yeah.
Can you tell us how the everyday life was even back then in Memorial?
Well, listen, I'm gonna say it like this: it be a lot of that East Side, West Side stuff that be going on. Listen, I'm from the West Side. I'm finna tell you, don't play with them folks on the East Side. East Side not playing, bro. The East Side not playing. I'm gonna say I'm from the West Side. We don't play either. But you can't take, bro. I'm talking about. Fortunately, I had been on the East Side long enough to where it was like I knew a lot of people in there. That was the one thing that saved me. And then also being like a stand-up guy, people knew my story. My paperwork had already been seen, everything. Ain't no statement on home. Home ain't doing like, I was just coming thorough anyway. It wasn't no facade, it wasn't no fake. It's just, people know of you and stuff like that. But I also knew I was in there with some people where it was just like some situation went down in the street that was just like, man, but what? I'm talking about like people don't know, like, man, people in there dying, bro.
Right.
People in there dying, it's never coming on the street. I did a song called Some Flow, because like that's the closest thing to getting that message out. Bro, people hanging themselves, it'll never make it outside the jail, bro. Like people getting beat to death, like people getting starved, police, like everything going down that you think can go down in prison, it's like county ain't that sweet. 19-1. You lock down about 19 hours a day. You come out like 2 hours, 30 minutes in the morning, 2 hours, 30 minutes in the evening. I don't know how the food set up now, but I know then it was like breakfast was like 5 in the morning, dinner was 2 o'clock, and you get a little sack lunch. That's it.
Mm.
Yeah, it's bad. TVs ain't working. Yeah.
I'm already believing that.
Yeah.
So you sat in the DeKalb County Jail for 2 years. What initially caused you to sit for that long time period? Because you didn't have a bond or
I
none
didn't
of
have a
that.
bond. It's the justice system. I had no priors, no nothing like that. There's attorney that we hired. A lot of people you can't really beat the system. You can't beat the system. I know we think we can, or all that, like when people tell you like no face, no case and stuff, bro, if you ain't been in the system, you gotta be quiet, bro. Cause it ain't until you get in the system that you see how crooked it is, how much, bro, they don't abide by the Constitution. Rights go out the window. All that. I have a right, you don't have a right, bro. Nothing. Like it's not nothing that you all that like sometimes when you watch stuff on TV with all these little like movies and stuff like that, a lot of this stuff is fake, bro, because it's like the government, the justice system completely crooked. And until I was in there, I had like 4 or 5 rights that was just violated, like having no priors. It was just like, man, at this point I can't even fathom like ever going through that again. Like it was enough to, like, when they say scared straight, but you couldn't pay me to do nothing. Like, listen, bro, if I ain't got it, I just ain't got it. We ain't about to figure out no way on that other side. Like that ain't coming about, bro, at all. Yeah.
But that's real. Some people have their different perspectives on that,
Yeah.
but that's real.
Yeah.
And for that to be a county jail, it blows your mind.
Bro, it blows your mind, bro.
You know what I mean? I've heard horror stories from, both county jails.
Yeah.
It definitely is serious.
Yeah.
Being in jail for 2 years and seeing how the penal system works, what's some of the beliefs that people have that's never, like you said, never been involved in a situation that when it comes to the system is absolutely not true? Like you said earlier, the no face, no case. What are some more scenarios where you've seen that when you went to the environment, you're like, okay, this is how this played out, and you were shell shocked by the response?
There's a lot of people who might not be smart individuals, but they're like mentally challenged people. There's a lot of mentally challenged people going to prison. In other words, they're not being provided with proper and adequate treatment to, like, psychological examinations to see where they stand mentally. I watched it firsthand, a guy get railroaded for God know how many years off of, like, the statement that the DA was providing. It wasn't making sense at all. But he was mentally incompetent to really stand trial. And he took his first plea. First plea didn't make no sense. But he also just wasn't there mentally. And I'm in a dorm with this guy, so I know he's really not there. It wasn't no act. It was just like, man, something that, like, honestly, I ain't gonna lie, he really shouldn't even got that much time for it. Like, they really should have took the man to, like, a psych ward to get some help, get some treatment. And so it's, you get a lot of individuals who are mentally challenged that are receiving, like, crazy, outlandish sentences because they just don't understand the system. We not talk about the system when you go to when you in school. Nobody teaches you how the court system works. So a lot of people, I don't get involved in, like, I wasn't there for the whole thug and gunner situation and YSL. I don't speak on that. I would say, and this is in no one's defense, I would say a lot of people who've never been in an interrogation room don't understand that you really can get tricked into telling. It's easy to sit here and say, man, if somebody starts shooting, I'm gonna pull my gun out and start shooting back. If you ain't been in that situation, there's called fight, flight, and fright. You don't know what you might freeze up. That's just what your body does. But you can't just speak on behalf of your body, not knowing what you get in an interrogation room, and as soon as they say, look, you looking at life, you don't know what you're gonna do. Everybody ain't built to just sit there and say, well, come on, tell them, bring it here. That might not be you. It might sound good to say that's you. You might hype yourself up to be like, and then there's certain things where, they even go about lying to get whatever they need done. They do plant evidence. They play a dirty game. And if you're not prepared to play that game, you don't know how to play it. There are people who go in interrogation room and give a statement, but they might give a statement to try to cover themselves and not be trying to tell on nobody, but they don't know how to, they have manipulative tactics to get you caught up in the system. And it ain't everybody trying to be a snitch. It ain't everybody trying to be like, people make accidents not knowing how to play into the system. People choose the wrong judges. I mean, not wrong judges. People you choose the wrong attorneys, not knowing some of these attorneys already gonna get a check. They're never going to jail. They taking your money and they going back working with the DA. They working with the judge. They know these people, this, that, and the third. They're not really on your side. It's so much that go into it that it's just, it ain't one of those games you want to play. The no face, no case, you become the prime suspect. Now the DA is going to convince the jury that it was you, and it's like, it wasn't enough evidence. That don't always happen. So it's like, it's a lot of things that people just, they don't know, they don't see, like they don't understand. Most people that become correction officers, watch out. They were the ones who got beat up in school, bullied. That's a real thing. It ain't nobody that was cool that really just going into the, correction facilities. There's a lot of people who want to get that get back, and they becoming correction officers, and you gonna have to deal with it. It's like it's a lot that go into it. To where I would say, if you think before you become a criminal, before you do anything illegal, before you think that you already got to figure out how you gonna beat the system, if you don't have the resources, you don't have the paper, don't think that your brain is smart enough to outnumber like thousands. We talking thousands of people who just out to see you. Out to see you down bad in prison. It's gonna happen. Oh yeah. Yeah.
That's real. What was the hardest part about you being locked up for that longest extended period of time?
I think the hardest part was coming to terms to being honest with myself. It was they call him a chaplain. When the preachers come to the church, come to jail to talk to you and stuff like that. We had a chaplain, and he said something that like really had stuck with me to this day, where you can make things right with God and he will forgive you. But don't think that you just gonna walk up out of his door because you forgiven. You're gonna pay for everything you done. It just may be more peace in wherever it is you land. And with that, I felt like I had to almost accept my fate, where if God saw fit to make me pay for everything I did inside, how am I gonna have to try to find peace? Like knowing where I might have to end up at. Like knowing I might have to take some years or never be seeing the light of day again. Every day was hard to cope. I think the other thing that was hard was, one of the worst things is having dreams that you on the outside. Cause when you wake up, it's like you back to them cinder blocks and you can't come out that cell. Ain't no none of that. Like so like it's a little different now when I wake up. When I wake up, like I've been out now like what? Almost 10, 11 years. To this day, I still don't get used to like it's not normal to just wake up and just realize I'm around sheetrock or that I'm on a regular mattress. It's not normal for me. Like it might be normal for some people, but like to have a dream now and wake up and it's like I'm in a free world, like your mind be in a whole different place where you sit there, bro. I'm talking about you be dang there in tears because you'll have a dream that you outside driving, you outside doing something, and then when your conscience hit and your eyes still closed and be like, oh snap, you be like, wait, please don't let me wake up on this cot. Don't let me open my eyes on this. You open your eyes, you back on that bottom bunk. Like it's crazy, bro. Like so, it's like that be a lot of things to take in consideration. Where it's just like not knowing if you coming home. I think that was the hardest part for me. That was the hardest part. Like, yeah, that was probably the hardest part for me.
Man, yeah, I couldn't even imagine. You put it that way.
Nah, you don't want to.
I couldn't even imagine that.
You don't.
Waking up from a dream. Yeah, that's surreal.
Yeah.
You said you wouldn't speak much on the Young Thug case, which we're not going to go into.
For sure.
I just want to speak on the how it turned out as far as probation. We've seen Young Thug be released with a mind-blowing amount of probation and a list of rules. How much time on probation? Because essentially that's what happened with your case. You were given probation, which is out there on the internet. If y'all want to see it, go look and see how it all played out as far as. But we're given probation. What were the terms of your probation?
So I took a plea of a 10-2. I had already sat down for 2 years with no bond. So the fact that they said 10-2 with me already doing 2 years, I knew that meant I was gonna go home. I had already made up my mind then. I didn't want to be on probation for 10 years because like it's man, it's something about like it's enough to have an oppressed spirit as a black man. Just like you already know, like you learn about slavery, you learn about so many things, and most people think it's just easy to shake that spirit, but it's like, bro, from child support to anything that the government got their hand on, boy, being on probation is like somebody having a leash on you. Like, I did not want that, but I also knew I knew I was going to stay out of trouble long enough not to have to worry about coming back to complete the rest of that time. And fortunately, that's exactly what happened. Bro, it's just one of them tricks where it was just like, that was the only way for me to really be able to come home, because outside of that, they was just like, cool, we're gonna go to trial. So it's kind of like you take this time, and you know, my argument with the judge and the DA was, I mean, what am I pleading out to? Like, why are y'all giving me a charge just to go home? Like, if the person said it ain't nothing, y'all got 2 years out of me, can I just go home? But they weren't gonna let me go home without taking a plea for something. That's just part of the system. That's how they do. So
initially, they wasn't gonna let you go home unless you gave up other people.
Initially,
right?
Or so, but even then, bro, it'd be so crazy because you don't even know if it really worked like that. Sometimes they'll tell you that.
I say that to say, because you know, along with you having so many interviews,
right?
People dropping a comment and say, "Oh, he out because he snitched." He out.
Yeah.
In essence, he got the probation and took a plea because he didn't snitch.
Yeah.
Because he didn't say anybody else's name.
Oh, for sure. And that's people, man. You ain't been in. I'm glad you said that. Yeah. Well, people ain't been in the system, bro. They got to be quiet because you ain't even trying to go study law. Why are you even putting your 2 cents in? You don't know how it works. These people tell you anything. You lie to your mom. You think the government ain't finna lie to you? Like, nah, it don't make sense. So it's like, yeah, but ultimately that's how it worked. I didn't give up anybody. So, you know, they gave me an offer to come home. I took that offer, came home, and was just like, I gotta do what I gotta do to make my life better, turn everything around for the 180.
How long was your probation?
10 years.
So you just finished up.
I just finished up. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Appreciate it.
I mean, coming from our culture and our community,
yeah,
completing probation,
Yeah.
that's something to be celebrated.
Yeah.
You know, so congratulations on
I
that.
appreciate it.
Like I said, not going too deep into it, especially not picking sides. That's a very dangerous thing to do in Atlanta. But how do you feel, like, what's your thoughts on the amount of time Young Thug got on probation? I think it was like 15 years or
I mean, me not really expounding on it, I think everything happened for a reason. I do believe Thug is a spiritual individual, so I don't, whatever he got going on with God, who knows if that may be for God to help him. Maybe God just saying, "Hey, look, I need you to stay clear of these people because I know your heart. I know you're a good person. I don't even want you to fall victim to this."
Right.
So it's like it's always a positive way to look at it. For me, you know, in my accounting, meeting Thug before, I never seen that side of what they. I'm not saying that I don't speak on that because I don't know about that. But me, for what I seen, the positive side that I seen in him,
right.
I can only take it from a positive perspective as
course.
to why the outcome was why it was. And so that's the way I look at it. Like everything, it's a bad and everything, it's a good and everything. It's just how you decide to perceive it. So for me, I mean, you know, it's the system. That's how the system do it.
Well, you sitting there in front of us living proof that 10 years,
There you go.
You do the right thing, you make it happen.
You can make it happen.
You know what I'm saying?
You ain't gotta look over your shoulder, no nothing. Yeah.
That's big.
Yeah.
That's big. So fast forward, you sign with Authentic Empire.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, there's life in between there.
Mm-hmm.
But at this moment, you signed with Authentic Empire. Do you remember around about what time that was? Like what year it was?
Like in the 2017.
Okay.
In 2017. Yeah.
So how did you come about signing with Authentic Empire?
At that time, I was making making some noise as an independent artist. I had a song called No Hearse. And at that time, it was kind of like, you know, like in Atlanta independent circuit, at that time, it was a lot of love being shown. I would say that about like 2017, 2016, it was like a lot of great art. And there was a lot of artists that were better than me. But I think what made me be better was the hard work outbeats talent. And I used to look at a lot of people and I used to wonder, like, dang, like they so much harder than I am. Like they got it together. Why they still here? But then eventually I started to see why. And it came down to when you get like certain love like that, it goes back to that high school thing that I was talking about where you just kind of like, you fall victim to stand in an era that feels good.
Of course.
So you don't figure out how to elevate. And one thing about me, I was always trying to figure out how to elevate. I knew whatever you go into, you got to go into it like you mean it. So it was like, I was always best dressed. I was always gonna be a fly artist. You ain't have to know you gonna ask who I am because of how I'm dressing. and it might be outlandish. I might come in with a huge fur on. But it was just part of me really believing like I'm an artist. I go to Budget and rent a fake Sprinter, bro, and fill it up with like people. So like if I go do shows, it's kind of like, who is this? Like people who want to know who I am based on, cause I carry myself like an artist. Like it was just like, it was more than just trying to look. It was like you have to emulate what it is that you really want to be. So that ended up catching the attention of well, how it caught Boom attention was I actually did a showcase. Um Forgot their name, but I don't gonna get them no. They was at this time they was doing like these like indie showcases, whatever. They was kind of big, but anyway, I did it with this white boy named Noah, and I had to step out, take a phone call, get my people in when he was performing. When I came back in, everybody was like, my people was telling me, bro, if you lose, you gonna lose to this white boy because he hard.
Right.
And I'm looking, my Noah couldn't dress for nothing. He's like this tall, lanky, goofy white boy. Like he's not him. But I didn't never hear the music to know.
Right.
So when I performed, I'm not gonna call her name because she's not, relevant in the community to be blasting like that. But she had a thing where she didn't really too much care for me in the showcase bit, like the indie showcase. She did her own thing as well. The two judges, it was three judges, and I remember one judge in particular giving me a low score. But I knew who the judge was, and I told my people, if we don't get it, I know exactly who it's gonna be. I know why we didn't get it. I ended up placing second, and nobody could believe I placed second because the person that came first was just kind of like, he wasn't that, like not trying to be funny. He was cool. He wasn't that though. I came second. Noah came third. Noah came up to me to get my information. I was a little heated, but we exchanged information. He was like, "Man, I really like to get in with you." At that time, I was producing. I really had became an artist because um, people just couldn't deliver. Nobody could deliver on my beats how I needed them to. So it was just like I had to take it upon myself to be the artist. So he came to the studio. He wanted to go through some beats. I played him a couple beats. I want to say the first beat I played, it was like he freestyle. I'm talking about off the top of his head, like freestyle the hook and start going. I'm like, oh, he's like, yeah, I like that. Let's put that to the side. I'm like, no, let's drop that. Let's record. So he was like, well, look, if we're gonna record, I want you on the song. So he did the hook, he did his verse, we looped the hook, I dropped my verse on it, and then I ain't really think too much of it. And he gave me a call one day and was like, yo, I'm going to sit down. I wasn't too familiar. Well, hearing how Authentic Empire discover artists, I knew was a scam, but that the way they did it, I've never heard of how they scammed it. It just when he was like, yeah, I'm finna go pay these people that want to hear my music. I'm like, wait, what? I told him, I'm like, look, bro, you could do it. I was like, I wouldn't do that, but if that's what you want to do, I mean, let me know how it turned out. I don't know what else he took to them. It worked out for him. And because it started working out for him, I was like, they hit me up. Boom had hit me up or had him communicate with me they wanted to pay me for the beat. That was the first time I was actually getting paid. I was getting paid like maybe $100, anywhere between 20 to 100 for some beats. I got paid 500 for that beat. Then they doubled back and wanted to pay me for the feature because they didn't know that I was also the person that featured on the song. So then from there, that's when I first, Boom got on my line, and he was just like every day adding me, "What you doing? What you doing?" Blah, blah, blah. Telling me that like I need you, I need you. I just so happened to go to New Music Mondays with the Coalition DJs, and that's when I had ran into Roscoe Dash because he was trying to do some. He was previewing some new music. And so I was like, man, this is a coincidence. That it's like, I didn't know what him and Boom had going on.
Right.
And it was crazy how that came about because I got Roscoe's number. And then when Booms end up talking to me, mind you, I'm talking to Boom, I talk to Roscoe, but I don't know the two because I'm green, bro. All I do, I work. I don't know how managers and all this stuff work hand in hand. I never knew, I didn't know. But anyway.
Right.
Boom ended up telling me like, yeah, I had Roscoe Dash, this, that, and the third, blase, blase. So I'm like, dang, I just got Roscoe's number. So I give Roscoe a call. Roscoe kind of pretty much explained to me like, I'm hearing him, but it's like, I'm kind of naive and gullible at this time. I don't know how to read between the lines.
Right.
But he was telling me like, yo, watch your contract, like don't let him do this and that. He telling me what to do. And I'm just like, okay, but I ain't hearing that where he said, bro, that's not the dude you want to mess with. Like he messed my career up. No, nothing. But the first question I asked Roscoe,
So he never verbally said that.
he didn't verbally say it, but I respected how he did it.
Gotcha.
He did it in a good manner.
Right.
Of like, I don't speak bad on people,
He's
but
telling
it's
you
kind
what
of
to
like,
look out for.
you need to watch out for this.
Right.
And so I'm kind of like Green. I don't know how to read between lines and understand what he's saying. We end up having a conversation later on when things started going way left, and I started seeing. He was like, "Bro, that's what I was trying to tell you." Now I'm like, "Oh, now I'm seeing it," because now it's like it's all making sense. But yeah. So Roscoe Dash pretty much gave me the heads up. Like he didn't say not to do it, but he didn't say to do it either. Just told me what to look for if I do decide to move forward with him. And then from there, it was just kind of like, watch what I do. Watch what I do with Noah. And to this day, I still got a picture. The funny part about it is, I don't even know if I ever really said this in the interview. If I tell the truth, like Boom don't really owe me nothing. He don't owe me nothing. And the reason why, Boom screwed his partners. I signed to his partner, not the Boom man. His partner owned Authentic Empire. So when I signed my deal, it's on picture. I still got the pictures and everything. Me and his partner signed on that line. Yeah.
Okay.
But that was smart because when I screw your whole business over, it's not my business.
Wow.
It belongs to you.
Okay. Go ahead.
So I mean, but it's
That's different. That's
yes,
different.
yes,
And I definitely have not heard that before.
yes. So the business didn't belong.
So you signed with people.
I signed with then. I don't know what their relationship is now. I signed with his partner, but his partner was never the one handling the business.
Gotcha.
It was always
So Boomman was the face of it.
yes.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead. This first time I'm hearing this, I don't even have no questions.
Yeah, this is the first time I really said it too. Like,
so you probably just booked yourself another interview where somebody will dissect that. 'Cause I don't even. That is mind blowing though.
Yeah.
To hear that.
Yeah.
Man.
So it's
even for
kind
you
of
even
like
to say online, because people gonna clip and they gonna cut stuff.
I know.
You just to say, "Boom, man, don't owe you anything."
Even if they could, like, to be honest with you, I'm grateful for everything. Like, if I be honest, I'm grateful Boom did what he did. I ain't even gonna say and lie to you. I'm grateful because it turned me to the individual who I became, came from the experience I had to go through. Like I went through so much, bro, and it's like, I cried, bro. I was embarrassed. I was broke. I was homeless during the time and it was like, you could brag about like, oh, I took a girl out the hood and put her in Prada and took her to Miami, put her on a yacht. But what was you doing? You was pimping her. She was still getting beat. She was still getting drugged.
Right.
She still didn't have freedom.
Right.
It just looked better from that perspective.
Right.
But sometimes that's what defined that was my moment of going through the fire to see if I was really made to be EuroGotit.
Dude.
Everybody ain't bounced back.
That's real.
You feel what I'm saying?
I mean, I say this. We ain't doing this interview in the studio.
For sure.
Like, you know what I mean? We pulled up to your property.
1 of 3.
That's what I'm saying.
1 of 3.
That's, so you ain't doing bad by yourself.
For sure. For sure.
You know what I mean? I'll say this first time I seen him a day in person. You know what I mean? So
you feeding.
Yeah, I did. You know what I'm saying? I'm be real. Where I come from, we don't have them. You know what I mean? So you doing pretty good for yourself.
I appreciate it.
And that's more than anybody can ask for.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So and I'm being dead honest.
For sure.
I ain't gonna say location, but we ain't in the studio.
For sure.
We in Atlanta, Georgia, in one of your properties.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
But yeah. Do you remember the details of the contract that you signed? Were you given any type of advance?
I wasn't given an advance. A lot of people always tell you to read the contract, but I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. Like, all these lawyers are not straight. And this ain't to tear down all lawyers. A lot more than most, I would say, lawyers they just understand it's a business. They don't have morals. A lot of people don't have morals, bro, when conducting business. And I think that, to be honest, that's kind of where it comes in. If most attorneys, we just now getting into that lane of having these urban style, like hip hop attorneys where, they cool, they dress like us, they young. That wasn't always the case. They were more traditional. More traditional attorneys don't really cater to the hip hop community, even if that is their job to read it.
Right.
As your attorney, when you pay me to read an agreement, read over something, I don't know what's going to happen with you. I don't know if you're going to be a little baby, a young thug, a future. I don't know what you're going to turn out to be.
Right.
Pay me, I'm going to read it over. I see a couple red lines. I'll tell you what you need to change. They not doing a lot of mediating because you don't already have that bread to help the mediation
So you
continue
did
to
get an
go
attorney
on.
to look at the contract?
I did have an attorney. I have an attorney look at it. They gave me a couple of red lines, but they also told me it was standard. And the thing was, I didn't have a bad contract. I didn't have a horrible contract. The leverage points for why they did what they did made sense. What was wrong was the part that was supposed to be held up for me was never honored. If I go into a contract with you and I let you know, hey, listen, we're gonna do this thing where you don't have no money, but I got the connections. I'm gonna get $100,000. I'm only gonna give you 10,000. It ain't really no argument on why that's wrong. You don't have no money. You're about to make $10,000. Even if I take 90 of it, who are you to complain? The issue come in when you trying to figure out where's your $10,000 that you were promised, because you ain't getting nothing. All of the, like, me not taking advance and also putting up some of my own money, figuring out how to make money to continue to say like, oh, this was old. This was old. Where are the books? All businesses keep books. There are no books. However, unfortunate, it's a game. Business is just, there's always loopholes.
Right.
There's always ways for people to get over. Are people wrong for getting over? I mean, if that's who you are, dog, that's who you are. It just don't make it morally right.
Right.
I don't practice business etiquettes of screwing people over just because they don't know. That's just not, it's not right, bro.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If I'm working at a cash register and I owe a blind man $20, I'm not gonna give him a $5 and say, that's your fault, you can't see. That don't make it right, bro. It just don't make it right.
Right.
Now, a lot of people go into it's a lot of people that haven't been in the business that just don't understand the business. And that's ultimately what it came down. I've always been a businessman. Like, again, like even back when I was in the streets, how I conducted business, it wasn't people's business to know what I did in the streets, how I ate. I kept my face card clean. I was always a good person, never shysty. I just handled business how I handle business.
Right.
So me coming into this game, I was never really cut out for a lot of what I call the old heads, because a lot of the old heads just took the methods from what white people did to them and they implemented on their own, and the younger generation, which is us. And it's like, that's why they validate, oh, it's just business. It's not just business. You don't screw people over like that, bro. Like,
nah,
yeah.
that's real.
Yeah.
I heard you say you didn't take an advance. So were you offering an advance?
No.
So you wouldn't even offer one?
I wouldn't offer one because at that, it was just like, from my understanding, he didn't have the money for an advance. I was just glad somebody took an opportunity to say they was gonna manage me and help my career, scale. I just didn't know. I didn't do my due diligence and do a background check because I didn't know that they were a person to do a background check on. I just thought, you ain't got no money, I ain't got no money. You from Atlanta? Cool. Nobody else had told me, like, but then again, nobody else really knew what we had going on because,
Right.
Yeah.
Dig it. So while with Authentic Empire, you would get features from artists like Lil Baby, Gunna, Yellow Beezy, Rich Homie Quan, Future. However, it was said that you were homeless and at one time even carless while some of these songs were played on the radio and racked up thousands of views online. Could you explain that situation?
As with most artists today, it's a very unfortunate situation, but a lot of times the odds really are stacked against you once you have an appearance of making it out the hood. The moment it seems like you've crossed over from rags to riches, that's when a lot of labels or management companies kind of tend to know that they got you, because it's very rare that people come clean and just say, this is what's going on. I don't know if y'all ever seen what was going on with the girl Slimeroni or something like that. I don't know her name. She was sitting in the car crying.
Yep. Okay, I just seen that recently.
But that's the reality of what's going on with a lot of art. I don't know her situation. I don't know who
Right.
she signed to, but that's the reality for a lot of artists, where it's like you don't want to come clean and talk about what actually is going on with your life. Like, you don't tell people, they gave me a chain, but they won't give me no place to stay. I was staying in the studio for about like a year after I was signed. Mind you, I didn't mind being there because I love the studio, but it was like the money that I was supposed to be given to me based off of what I made, it was never given to me. It was just told like, yo, you're in a recouping phase. But it was like, how much am I recouping? I mean, how much is being recouped? Like, what is being recouped off of what? What's it? Where's There was never no paperwork, no trail to show what was going on. So that's the case for a lot of artists. A lot of us fall victim to not wanting to tell people what the reality of things are. We drive a car that's not our car. We wear chains that's not our chain. We stay in houses we don't have no paperwork to. We just don't know the business. And it's sad and unfortunate, but if I do have to also give the other side of the truth, as artists, stop leveraging your talent thinking people owe you stuff. That's where I messed up. That's where a lot of people mess up. Always know your business. People ain't gonna give you stuff based off the fact you're a good person with a talent. You can make a ball and go in the hoop and you can talk real nice. That don't mean people are obligated to give you a good contract on good faith and handle your business for you. It's still your business. They not your parent. And a lot of us do that. We spend nights, days in the studio, never learning our business. Learn your business before you sit up here and go talk to these people, because the people that want to call you family and want to start really embracing you, those are snakes you really got to watch out. They don't have a pure intention. They know you were missing something, and it's that family dynamic. And they're going to give you that missing key to make you buy into the trust, where they become your brain. They handle all your paperwork, they handle all your money. And some of us, we can live with that. You get a lot of artists who never check their paperwork. They get their money, and I ain't gonna call no names, but I mean, I feel like a lot of them that's who end up being like the biggest in the game, because it's kind of like, not now. When I say biggest in the game, I'm not talking about like just all the A-listers. There are some people that you see that just kind of blow up overnight.
Right.
And those people that blow up overnight, a lot of those people typically tend to be like, it is what it is. I came from nothing, so whatever I get now, cool. I'm cool with it. You skimming me, I'm not checking for it. Just make sure I'm getting something.
Right.
And that's the game.
Right. No, I won't say any names, but they did an interview. There's an artist that did an interview with Sean Cotton, Say Cheese, and they were talking about, they didn't go into in-depth detail about their contract, but similar stuff they were saying. They were signed to a label, and they put the machine behind them.
Yeah.
And it
That's a
allowed,
real thing.
and it was like, as long as I'm eating, you
Yeah.
know what I mean, they can eat off my plate too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Which ain't wrong. You just kind of you don't really be knowing what's yours if you don't see no paperwork. You'll be driving a car like 3 years,
That's
and
it.
you know what I'm
Between
saying?
his scenario and what you're talking about, he was seeing where the money was going and where the money was coming in at.
That's what you got to do.
But if you're not seeing
If
it,
you're not seeing
then
it and you don't know, bro, it's
I got
like,
you.
you get the Maybach. It's like a Maybach can be a liability or an asset, because when they decide to snatch everything away, you ain't got that paperwork. You can't go sell that Maybach. It's not yours. You can't go sell that chain. It's not yours. You got to be able to leverage your asset. Like, hey, before you give me this, ain't no just giving. Where the paperwork on it so I can see? This my house? Cool. Where the paperwork on it so I can see?
Yeah.
How if it's in the company's name, let me know, what am I paying on this, or what's being paid. It's always it's a paper trail to everything.
Gotcha.
You feel what I'm saying?
I do. At what point would you say you started to notice what you were being told from Boomman wasn't adding up?
Um, I ain't gonna lie. My gut intuition was always telling me, but again, being raised in the church, I just tried to overlook. I didn't know what it was that was talking to me and telling me something was wrong.
Gotcha.
So I tried to ignore it. But then again, me having a lot of trust in Boom, it was like he would always come back and kind of make me renege on what I felt for myself. It was like he almost reconfirmed, you probably gonna feel like this. And that's kind of how it was with the church. And that's what made me believe it so much, because the church would kind of tell you stuff that's like, people gonna tell you this, that, and the third, but that's the devil. That's the wolf in sheep clothing. That's the wolf in sheep clothing.
Right.
But it's really people telling you, yo, bro, open your eyes. This ain't how God really is. But if you go back and be like, that's the wolf in sheep clothing, I can't listen to you. So you shut off a lot of people. So I shut down a lot of my intuition, because it was kind of like Boom knew I was starting to think for myself. And he'd be like, you might be feeling like this and this, that, and that'd be very much how I'm feeling. Me, I would take that and be like, oh, we must be super in tune, because it's crazy he know this. And so it'll make me reconsider what I was thinking and go with whatever his playbook was.
Gotcha.
So I think it wasn't really until, honestly, probably when I had my I knew when I had that song with Future, I said, bro, when we drop this tape, this thing don't do 1 million in a day. I know what it is. Cause I know the streets in tune with me, Future rocking with me. It was just too much. The chemistry was there. That's when I started kind of knowing, all right, cool. Money is being ran off with, money is being spent and not put in the right place. Cause I never really had no advertisement. There was never nothing that was really catapulting my career outside of myself. And it was just kind of like, but I'm paying attention, like, it's Rolls Royces coming in, it's new Corvettes coming in, it's all this new stuff coming in, but it's not helping with my career. And the only thing was, it's you holding yourself back. But it's like, I'm not getting none of my money. You're telling me what you're doing with my money, and I'm just agreeing with it, because it's like, I'm thinking you got it for me in my best interest. Until a Corvette come in, I'm realizing, like, I did a song with such and such, and I'm like, wait, hold on. These spins ain't making sense. This ain't making sense. So looking at the numbers wasn't lying. It was,
So did you receive any type of money from Think Empire?
from shows and features, but even then it was like that was being skimped. A lot of how I was getting features, I wasn't really getting features based off of people just wanting features. Like, I might have did over 500 features, but my features wasn't really coming from, if somebody wanted to just get just a feature from me, it was always the way Authentic operated, the way Boom operated was just always kind of like, it was more like, come through our program. Pay us for our program, and through our program, you can get a feature with
Gotcha.
Euro.
So like a added bonus from participating in the program.
There you go.
Gotcha.
Much. Yeah.
So how did your deal with Authentic Empire end?
I was really eligible to renegotiate, but at that time it was just by that time the psychological damage was just done. Like, everything was just done, like, to where it wasn't even up for me to renegotiate. By this time, like me, I've always still been a God-fearing person. I had to tell God, like, straight up, like, look, you know how I'm moving. I'm not going back. I'm not even gonna let man think that man have any control over anything. I'm relying solely on you. So if you let me down, God, that just go to show that you ain't real and people can't trust you, because it's like, I just know what's going on at this point, and it's just like, I just can't keep going for it. So it was just it was also the trying to butter me up to get me to sign back. But by this time, bro, like I was saying, like, man, I made these people so much money, bro, and I didn't have a car, didn't have a house, no nothing. It wasn't even up for debate. It wasn't up for debate.
Gotcha. We hear about artists talk about owning their masters. Do you own the music that you release under Authentic Empire?
No, I don't.
So they still own it.
They still own it. I don't even, man, it was it realistically speaking, it's just kind of like going back to when I was telling you about as far as like if you're not receiving your funding, you kind of don't have no control. So with my situation and nothing being upheld in the contract, if I don't receive payment, where do I find the funds to even pay an attorney to start dissecting the things needed to be dissected? Um, it was just kind of like it was just it's almost like if I tell you I'm gonna give you something, but I don't give it to you, and then you can sue me, but you're gonna need the money to sue me, and it still could take time. And I'm just gonna buy my way by just pushing the court case out. You might not have the funds, so I exhaust all your funds. It's one of those type of situations. So it was just kind of like yeah.
So at one point you looked into suing them, or has it ever crossed your mind to to sue for what you feel like you're owed?
It did, but again, it's just kind of like I don't even know if it's even worth pursuing, to be honest with you. Like, I mean, whatever's been lost, and then it's just kind of like it ain't really no loss. Like I just felt like it was a lesson. Like God gave me an opportunity to do something that I really wanted to do, and I did it. So it's like, I mean, I'm here now. So it's like, I mean, I'm not broke, so
Right.
I ain't really got no reason to like sit here and complain over spilled milk. Like I went through something that made me great, and then to be honest with you, knowing knowing like being like a child of God, my blessings ain't never came from having a lot of money. Like I ain't gonna sit here and lie to you. I made a lot of money. I've never had a lot of money at one time. Like I just haven't. Like it's like God always set it up to where opportunity present itself. I'm always just ready for the opportunity. And that's the I know I walk in the blessings. Like it just be like I got 3 houses in about a year. But I didn't have $1 million at that time when I got them houses. Like, but it was just it's the opportunity to present itself. Everything legit, paperwork, check out, everything is just that's just how God worked. But I also feel like when God uses you as a vessel, sometimes money can't be the tool because it's like you can't get through to his people. But if money was the outcome,
Right.
I can't tell people how to get money, but I can tell people how to like have pure intentions. When things go left, they're gonna shake back. They always do,
Mm.
because that's what happened for me. So it's like, um, however God had it to work out, bro. I just don't feel like it's like something for me to even go and revisit to see. I just feel like I had to learn from that, and just once I learned, I feel like if I wanted to do it again, I could do it again. I just don't know if it for me if it'll be worth it. Like especially knowing what the music industry is about. It's a business, bro. So like I push positivity. I push God. It's hard to go into a negative workspace and try to make a change. You can only make a change by being a brand, being who you are. And when people buy into you, they rock with who you are. That's ultimately what the change become. The change just become off of you being a brand. But I mean, the music ain't built to be what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be about killing. It's supposed to be about drugs. It's supposed to be about negativity. That's what they invest that money in.
Mm.
I'm gonna give such and such a few $1 million. He gonna go and tell you when he thought about his dead partner, he popped that, grab that 4-5, swung the block, like, and everything that the music business is invested in, they just paid for with pennies on the dollar. So now they invested in the pharmaceuticals, they invested in the jailhouse, they invested in funeral home, they invested in ammunition. Everything that you covered from in a few little bars, they gave you a couple dollars just to make them $1 trillion. So it's like it's a business. I can't walk in that force and think that like I'm gonna make a change. That force is doing what it's supposed to do. Gotta let that thing run its course and you be the change you want to see.
Man,
Yeah,
well, you said a
for
mouthful, boy.
sure. For sure.
Boy,
That's how it work, bro.
hey,
That
that's deep
business.
though. Like you saying, and I'm like, man, that makes sense.
That's business. It's everything America's a business. Down to a marriage. Marriage ain't even about love. It's about business. I can love you till you die. We can be in love till we die. We do that paperwork though. That paperwork is going. It turns to a business from there. Come with benefits.
I
Yeah.
mean, you sign a contract
There you go.
that you gotta go in front of a judge to break.
Everything.
I dig it.
Yes, sir.
From those who criticize your deal with the Thinning Empire and how it played out, what do you have to say to the people who feel like it's just as simple as you didn't read your contract?
I mean, People that ain't never been in business, they say all type of stuff. So it's like you can't fault them for that. They speak on everything. Like
That's real.
I'm not mad at it. They not in that situation, and it could have went far left for other people than it did me. So, I mean, I bounced back. What they gotta say now?
Dig it. No, that's real. Going off your experience in the music business, what type of advice can you offer to someone looking to sign a deal and make it in the music industry?
Know what you're signing up for. If you can play that game, if you can sign up for what it's called for, then I mean, know what come with it. It's some people I can't tell people like to worry about your masters, worry about the clout, because you got some people who clout is exceptional for them. You got some people who just going like that. You know, I've heard a saying where like in business, you got, excuse my French, you got pimps and you got the hoe. That's all it is. And there's nothing wrong with being hoe if you can understand what the stipulations come with being hoe. Everybody got to play the hoe sometime. It's just however you play the hoe. It don't mean you going out bad. It's this exchange is for this exchange.
Right.
If we had to put it in sexual content, if I need $40 and I have to offer myself for $40,
Right.
and it just so happened that the woman that I'm having sexual exchange with just so happened to have some good. I mean, yeah, I hold myself. I still got my $40, and it just so happened the process was good in the midst of it. So it was just you got to figure out how you go. Like, but that's the game. The pimp and the hoe. You ain't always gonna be the pimp. Sometimes you got to know how to play the role of the hoe to be able to be the pimp. Like, and that's just what it takes. So I mean, know what you signed up for, and be okay with it. Be able to live with it. If you can't morally live with it, rely on God like you as you should have in the beginning, and then just take the hard way. It's gonna be hard, but it's worth it though.
Dig it.
Yeah.
Dig it. After parting ways with Boomman and Thinning Empire, you would start going by King Gotit. What brought that name change about?
I really didn't want to be to be king. Like you had to like go through a lot of tests and trials and tribulations. Like I don't think it just come with just being like even if you are born into it, it's not just have a good life. There's a lot of like standards and things that you gotta like, even if you watch the movie 300, even as a child, you train it. You train to fight. You got to know how to lead. You got to know. You don't just get bored into it and stuff like that. So I feel like having a jail sentence, the things I went through, I made it out of a cult. I'm a family man. Like I don't play about my family.
Right.
It's just a transition to things that I took on to become a leader. I felt it was necessary to call myself King Got It. It was like I evolved from a human form to not God, but a God-like state where it's like I still got people I lead. Like,
Right.
I got people that depend on me, people that I have to feed what I consider my own tribe. So getting away from and at that time, it was just too much attached with EuroGotit to Authentic Empire. And my name was still making the money. I just didn't need that. So the way that I needed to disconnect, I just kind of decided to rebrand myself and just transition into something else.
Right.
Still though, like I mean, after all that died down, though, I'm still called Euro. People see me out, it's still Euro. Like they don't call me King Got It as much. That was more so again for at that time period, along with the music, really just to steer clear of all that was going on. But it's still Euro, but I still operate in the space of a king.
Dig it.
Yes,
Nothing
sir.
wrong with that.
Yes, sir.
What was the transition like going from IE side within the Empire to being 100% an independent artist? What was that transition like?
Hard. Hard. Like that. For my I think around that time with that age, being an adult, that was probably like one of the hardest times of my life. Cause it was like I've always stood for positivity. I never had nothing against people. Like the people, I'm the oldest of 10 kids. So I've always been like, it's always been in me to be a nurturer naturally. So from everything that I utilize to start with the artists, from live reviews to indie showcase, giving away money to jewelry, I've always tried to figure out how to incorporate making the people feel a part And I think where I kind of messed up at, where I didn't really want to have my name on it, me being so much of a nurturer, the things that I was hearing about Boomman, I feel like I messed up because I tried to change somebody that already had a reputation. I tried to help clean up his image.
Gotcha.
So a lot of stuff that I should have just naturally been like, yeah, this was me. I didn't take credit for. I didn't say nothing about because I was thinking like it'll end up being rewarded where it'll come back where, he'll probably be like, yo, I'm so grateful that you did this for me. You gave me this opportunity. Now people used to look at me like this. It didn't happen like that. So when it didn't happen like that, it just looked like I tried to help somebody who did me dirty, and now the people against me too. But I also had to remember, I mean, that's how it was for Jesus. So it was like, you can't expect people to, there's carnal minded people and then there's spiritual minded people. I've always walked in the spiritual. I was just kind of like let down at what that outcome was. Um, I had no prior media training, so no therapy. So a lot of how I went about lashing out or how I went about expressing myself, it didn't come off as people like being like, dang, he's very passionate. It was like he's angry,
Right.
he's mad, he's bitter. And I mean, I had to understand like that's just what came with it. Like
Right.
it is what it is. Like I'm not upset about it. Everything was just a learning process. But in the midst of learning that, I also learned it did help me to realize I had to reevaluate what my fan base was. Not saying that it wasn't I wasn't appreciative of the people I had, but I had to understand I had a lot of people who looked up to me because I was what they looked at as a quote unquote real. So being a real, they want you to do real stuff, which is, why go shoot that man? That's the only way I know you real. Bro,
Right.
that's not me, bro. Well, I can't rock with you, dog. You ain't real. Hey, look, I need you to fall back. Everybody else that's thinking like, bro, y'all go ahead that way. I'm not even on that. I grow, I learn, I evolve, and that's part. So people that's like here for the growth, people that's here to like understand, like, like, oh, this is how you make a change. This is how you go from the street and level up in this and that. Them the type of people that I have to embrace because that's all I can do. I can't be the old Euro that people appreciated. Like I'm not gutter Euro. I'm not street Euro. We ain't doing that no more. That's old. And then some people ain't ready to let that go, but that's okay. We here when you ready to grow, but when you ain't, so it was a transition. You realize followers start following off. Many people ain't commenting. Many people seem like they ain't paying as much as attention as they was before. But that's just that's what come with like rebranding. So
Right.
I think the miscommunication, the misunderstanding, the the growth that I thought I seen in one area as it started to disintegrate. I think that was probably the hardest part because I kind of felt like I came into it passionate for all people and everybody wasn't willing to understand that. And so when people fell by the wayside, most of the people I wasn't expecting to fall by the wayside, I think that hurt a lot. Like a lot. Especially when you take a stand for like a label and it just seemed like
Right.
nobody came behind you, nobody came to your rescue, nobody sided with you when it was like everything I ever did was for y'all. It kind of just,
No,
it's life though.
I feel like I can relate to that to a degree. Uh, I feel like I'm a good person.
Yeah,
I try to want the best for everybody.
yeah,
I feel like sometimes I get caught up in thinking that everybody I deal with has the same morals and stand
yes,
on the same principles
yes,
that I do.
yes,
So when I'm let down or I'm disrespected, I'm shocked and
yes.
it almost
It
it
almost
it,
angers you a
it
little
blows the
bit.
top on everything because it's like, man, how could you like
How could you do this to me? Yeah,
right?
yeah,
I can understand that.
yeah,
Yeah, I understand 1,000. Honestly, I understand that 1,000%.
for sure.
You know what I mean? Honest to God, bro, I hate that because, bro, I don't know you.
Yeah,
I know I can be around a person long enough to know when something's a facade.
for sure, for
There ain't
sure,
no facade about
for sure. I
you.
can't.
You know what I mean? Even Maya Beasley, like when I did her interview off camera, she was like, "Yeah, man, like you're a guy that like be real." She found out I was interviewing you. Was like, "Okay, I gotta pull up on bro too."
For sure,
Just because of the connection
for
y'all had,
sure,
because
for sure.
It's like he's a genuine person.
Yes.
You know, AK Films, when he found out I was on there, he's like, yeah, bro, real. And it ain't even so much of real, like, oh, like you said, oh, grab a gun, go do. Nah, he a real, genuine person.
Yes.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that's people who be real. My first time being around you,
For sure.
but the environment, your vibe, it seems like I've known you forever, bro.
That's how it's supposed to be. That's what love is, bro.
That's real, bro. Like
That's
I'm
what it
telling you,
is.
like I'm telling, dude is a genuine person. I'm telling you, it's awesome.
I
And to a
appreciate that.
point where I'm sitting here, man, I want nothing but the best for you. And I
I
like, you know,
appreciate it.
it's crazy. I don't even know you like that.
Yes,
And
sir.
it's just like, man, how could I say this, I've been you, is
Yeah.
what I'm saying. Like
Yeah.
being around people and literally wanting the genuine best for them.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, that's real, bro.
Yes.
And rare.
Appreciate it.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I mean that. So usually, with the exception of a few, rappers like to keep their families away from the public eye.
Mm.
Uh, you would somewhat do the opposite in 2021 when you and your family created the YouTube show, The Gotit Family.
Mm.
What led to y'all doing the YouTube show?
So to be honest with you, all while I was doing music, with everybody that I'm like involved with, it's like, you know, going back to what you said, it's no facade on being a good person. It's just kind of like, I think sometimes after you done been through a lot of crazy stuff in your life, you just kind of want just good times. Like, and a lot of time we be thinking money can fix that, but it was like 2018, 2019, that was the time where I probably legally started getting the most money I ever seen in my life. And I was miserable. So I had already had that experience of understanding how money don't fix problems. Money don't make everything better. Um, so I was just, you know, I kind of was like, man, well, where was it where I was at? And I realized like when I was happy, I just didn't have a lot of money. I wasn't never happy when I had a lot of money. I mean, I was never really upset during the times that I didn't have a lot of money. I had some good times in my life, but it was like once that money started hitting, during that times with Authentic, I don't care how much money I was making, I was never happy, bro. It was just like it was just never, like, the energy was just never there. It was like it was never enough. It was just the satisfaction was never there. So it's like through that you just kind of learn like, man, I just want to be happy. So it's like being happy really just didn't come until you just like realize like I just gotta have pure intention with everything. Everything just gotta be real. So um for me it was just kind of like I was saying all that to say, like, you know, during the time where I started dealing with my wife, it was just kind of like, you know, she was still working corporate. She was trying to get over into the music business too, as a publicist and stuff like that, working PR and stuff like that. So I'm like, yo, you got to look like, come on, like you can be my PR, this, that, and the third. But I ain't had no ill intention for her. She ain't have ill intention for me. And she was like, yo, I ain't gonna lie. I I'm tired of working corporate. I just don't know what to do or how to transition out of it. And I told her, I'm like, everybody got wings. We just all be scared to jump off that ledge. It ain't till you jump, like you ain't gonna know you know how to fly until you jump off the ledge. That's the scariest part, is jumping, but you ain't gonna fall. So it was crazy because she was like, all right, cool. Well, I want to try to start doing things. And let me see what I can get my hands into. And it just so happened she started working with like different content creators on YouTube. And she's a very smart like, for most of my business, that's who I tend to like, who I trust in, who I confide in, like as far as executing my business ideas and stuff like that. Cause she pretty much like have everything set up and lined up. She's very organized when it comes to that dynamics of things. I'm more also on the creative side. So that's where we like, you know, we work collectively. So she started doing YouTube, and it was something that was work. Like a lot of people wanted to see her. Like, I don't know how it was happening, but it was just like, so as it started growing, it got to the point she was doing like a lot of adult content, and she was like, man, I can't keep doing this because after a while, they're gonna want me to start taking all clothes. It's about to turn to OnlyFans. And I'm like, I got kids, and I know you ain't going for it, and I ain't
Yeah,
going
you ain't
for it.
going,
Like,
yeah, for
listen,
sure.
bro, the OnlyFans route for me, this just for me. That just seemed like when it's like all else fails,
Right.
you ain't finna look like all else failed with me. So she was trying to figure
She
out, she
said we
was
ain't going
like,
out like that.
yeah, so she was like, yo, I'm a pivot. Shout out Kanigra Dion. Kanigra is a very like, she's like, in my opinion, the biggest black content creator on YouTube. One of the few rarest people gave my wife all the game, like literally all the game, to where she followed it step by step, and here we are at like 1.2 million subscribers. It ain't been an easy journey, but she stayed consistent. So from the YouTube being solely for her, we pivoted into turning into a business with our kids.
Right.
So like the kids are heavily involved and stuff like that, and that's just been, I don't know, that's been a blessing, because it's like it's almost turned to pretty much like the bread and butter. Like it's just, content creating. Like, so
Right.
it's like, we work together on the creative side, we work together on the business side, and it's just a family business. So I mean, I can't be mad. Like, one thing about it, bro, I ain't gonna lie. Whether we in the streets, whatever business I gotta be involved in, we gonna eat.
Right.
We gonna eat. Whether I don't care if I'm with a label, I don't care if it's my family. Wherever I go, you're gonna be like, damn, got it over there. They got to eat. Like, we gonna eat.
No, it definitely shows.
Yes, sir.
From multiple aspects.
Yes,
It definitely
sir.
shows. If my dates are correct, this past September, you and your wife welcomed y'all sixth child. Another baby boy.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Appreciate that.
Is that it? Are y'all done? Are y'all going for Jay Fizzle's record?
Nah, no. Fizzle my boy, don't say that. No. Fizzle my boy. Now that's my dog, bro. Shout out Jay Fizzle. No, nowhere near. Like, no. I mean, yeah, we say we done, but we said we were done when he came about. So I don't know. I'm cool with being done.
Okay.
She say we done. I don't know.
Nothing wrong with 6. I got 6 myself. Ain't
You
nothing wrong
got
with
6,
6.
yeah.
I'm done.
Okay, you done.
Yeah. On camera, I'm done.
Okay,
Off
for
camera,
sure.
I'm done.
For sure.
Yeah, so you done at 6. Ain't nothing wrong with being done
Yeah,
at 6.
I don't know. Whatever God lay on her heart.
Hey,
I don't
that's
know.
what's up, bro. That's what's up. With that being said, how important is being a father to you?
That pretty much the head of the house, the man, determines what happens for the generations to come. Like, however your lineage, like for me, realistically, Gotit is not my biological last name, but I am in the process of transitioning into that name. I just kind of want to start fresh. Like, I ain't gonna lie, like my family tree just ain't it. Like on my mama's side, on my dad's side, it's like I love my family, but looking at the outcome, it ain't no. It's like, let that tree die off. That tree is what it is. This is where it starts. And so, from me taking accountability and being the best version of a father I can be, like, down, man, I'm talking about, I talk to my sons about everything. Like, they not street kids, good suburban kids. They not on social media. They don't follow trends. They green to a lot of stuff, but it's just like they just different.
Right.
And so, like, with that, it's kind of like, we I had to learn the traditions of a lot of things that we not gonna teach our kids. I do teach my kids entitlement. I work for it. So if I work for it, I get it. You entitled to hold on to it. So anytime you going into any business negotiation with anybody, regardless of what color they are, you hold that same attitude that they hold, because they got something to hold just like you got something to hold. So it's not like we're not doing the whole, hey Mr. Smith, hello. Hey. We're not doing that. Don't change your tone, don't change your voice. Know who you are as an individual. Your dad worked and built business for you. Now you got business. You going into any playing field with leverage. And so they operate. I homeschool my boys.
Okay.
So I don't teach them the same thing that we grew up traditional. There's traditional rules and codes that we do have to abide by, but it's also like breaking that system to start with a fresh start, so that I know I don't have to worry nothing about my grandkids. I don't have to worry about my great grandkids, because I know what started out as love was like rooted from the start here.
Right.
So I have to take full accountability and understand, like, I might not see my fullest potential of what I want to see in my life, but if I instill it in my sons are only going to be better than what I want it to be. Just like my mom and dad didn't have too much going for themselves, but if it instilled this much in me, I can only imagine what it's gonna do for my son. So it's like, being a father, it's a must. That this is how we get away from like government assistance. This is how we get away from all the stereotypes about how black men come out. This is like, it start with us. And so it's like, I gotta take pride in that. I take pride in that.
No, that's what's up. That's
Yes,
real
sir.
too. That's real for real. Like you said, today's one of your son's birthday.
Yeah,
Gonna give a shout out. Happy birthday to him.
for sure, for sure. Shout out Ty. Love you, boy.
That's what's up.
Yes, sir.
Fashion. So you go from, rap, well, further back than that, you go from being in the church growing up, getting into the streets, incarceration, uh, record deal, family. Now you're involved in fashion.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, you have a clothing line,
Yeah.
one of one clothing,
Yep.
where you handcraft one of one designer pieces.
Yep.
Tell us about one of one.
So 101 is really pronounced ooh, like
I
three
feel like
O's.
I felt like it was, but I say this,
Just
I couldn't
everybody
find
don't know
anything
yet.
where it said it. So I was like, I ain't about to get on here and say ooh,
Ooh,
yeah,
right,
and I
whatever,
made
yeah.
the wrong sound. He looked at me like, bro, what's that? So okay, gotcha.
Oh, they,
Add some clarity to that. So it's pronounced
ooh,
ooh,
like ooh,
which is abbreviated for
101. Yes,
So I knew that.
yes,
I just didn't know how to pronounce it.
yes. What's crazy how that came about? I've always like every time I put on clothes or something, I get around like females. That's always a ooh. It's always ooh, yeah. Like I ain't gonna lie, and I liked it, but then it was like one day I'm like, well, I've always dressed to where it's like I love to stand out. I don't want to look like no clown or just be too loud or be, but it's like my clothes pretty much speak for. I'm not a good opener with conversation. I don't walk up to people and just get cool. My clothes just kind of talk. Like if you don't know who I am, you might walk up, hey bro, what's up? What you got on? Or what's your name, bro? You look like you do something. And that's how the conversation goes from there because that's not me. I'm not no hater. I'm just don't really know how to open conversation. I just know how to carry one.
Gotcha.
So the way I dress, my dressing has always started conversations for me, whether it's cologne, whatever. It's something I got to do that's gonna be a conversation piece, like a conversation starter. So I feel like, and I don't really be seeing it all the time happen with too many individuals. And it's like, with me, even going back to high school, it's just like I'm big on like being one on one, dare to be rare, like just being different. Like so. Everything just like all the pieces of the puzzle just kind of came together. One on one is more of a brand where it's like again because I'm big into helping people. Um, I noticed the cross of like the luxury of buying high end pieces are at a scarcity. Like everybody just don't have it.
Right.
I'm a big Rick Owen fan, but like Rick Owen pieces, we talking about like $2,300 for a pair of pants. Like 25, like I got two pair of Rick, I got three pair of Rick, the three pair of Ricks that I have collectively run for about like 8 bands for on three shoes. People don't have it to do that, yes. And it's not that, yes. And
Three
it's simple,
pair of shoes.
like 8 bands. But I mean, that's me being a fashion
Of course,
connoisseur.
yes, yeah, yeah, yeah,
Like, you
yeah,
know
yeah.
what I
No,
mean?
no, I ain't knocking it. And,
Nah, I
man.
get it. I get it. But it's like with us not having that luxury, that's pretty much what one on one does. Like, so what we do is I pay attention to a lot of high. I'm not really into trends, but we more into like timeless pieces. Because with timeless pieces, you can wear them over and over. Like, we're not going to Louis Vuitton and buying like what's in style. This is what's in season. If it's a seasonal thing, we might get it for a party or something like that. But a lot of times it's like, especially as a in this day and time, you take a picture, you can't put it, you ain't really putting it back on like 2 and 3 times to take a picture like that again. So
Right.
what we do stuff that is like a cross where it's not an off market. We put our own style. We might see a Rick Owens jacket that's like go crazy, and it's like this jacket itself is like 6 bands. Nobody really has 6 bands to buy this jacket.
Right.
But you come to us, we put our own little twist on it. What looks like the Rick Owens jacket is differently styled,
Right.
and we making it more reasonable where people can afford it. So we making like high end stuff affordable. Plus, this ain't the days of like people ain't doing designer no more. Like we got it's like designer played out. It just played out. You got people that like work hard. If I work hard and I go buy a $600 shirt thinking I'm the only person in the shirt with this shirt. And then here comes somebody that don't do half of what I do. Don't do nothing. Don't even know how he came up on the money to get the shirt. He
Right.
put the shirt on. You just feel like now the shirt ain't nothing because it's like, so we specialize in
The
one-on-one.
representation means different now.
The representation is very much different. So it's like we give people that luxury of like saying, this is me. Like you come to our fashion house called the Soul House, and it's like we style you. We go over your style. We do like image consulting, figure out your style for you, and help you embrace the confidence in the pieces that you wear. That when you get stuff made, people gonna talk about you the same ways. But when they ask, "Where'd you get it from?" "Oh, I had this made." It's tiers to that a lot of people haven't understood on how it gets, like how fashion work. Like everything comes with tiers, and everybody ain't in them tiers. Like I can tell a person that buys a suit, and I can tell you bought the suit. You're wearing a suit, but that's all you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
A custom suit fits a little different.
Right.
One sleeve might be slightly shorter so we can see your timepiece, but it just takes different eyes to be able to see. That suit was made for you. That price range is a lot different than you just going and buying a suit. There you go.
Gotcha.
I'm seeing a lot of black people. I go to a lot of black event. Well, at the time where I was, I even be sketchy about like certain events that I go to. Cause one thing I don't like, I do not like these black men that can't wear a suit. I hate it, bro. Like all this street money, bro.
Right.
Bro, these dudes be coming in here looking like, bro, if you putting chains on while you have a suit, that's clown behavior, bro. Don't do it. I don't care who you is. Do not put your chain on. Don't over no bow tie, over no tie. Don't do it. Some people intentionally leave their collar unblocked so they can get illusion. I don't really be dressed like that. Don't put tennis shoes on with your suit. Stop, bro. We not 8 years old, bro. Like, stop. If you gonna do it, bro, do it. Like, go all the way with it. Don't play with it, bro. And I feel like as black people, we got to stop doing that. And I speak to black people in particular because it's like, it's not coming down. If you don't know, you don't know. But once you know, it just come of a certain age where you even know certain colognes go. You got playful colognes. You don't have cologne. Certain cologne, you don't just wear cologne. You wear certain colognes with suits because the fragrance gives off like outside. It's deep. I can get real deep in that,
Man,
but I'm
go
not
for
gonna
it.
get that.
I'm learning something.
It's just certain things that just come with the attention that you're looking to attract. And I
Gotcha.
believe that every time you make a trip, everything should be purposeful. If I'm stepping out at any award, I'm not stepping out for people to just see me. I'm going to meet somebody that I didn't know, and it's like it's going to be what I had the Noah effect. How me and Noah met up, how it turned into the whole authentic empire that got me here, this, that, and the third.
Right.
Everything happens like that. So it's like you got to be on point. Don't walk in the room like I'm the big dog. I ain't got nobody in here I need to meet. Don't come then. Why you in here then? Why you in here? You feel what I'm saying? Like it's like they always tell you, don't be the biggest in the room. You can't be you the biggest in the room while you in the room, unless it's your party.
That's real.
You know what I mean?
That's
And we
real.
get so caught up on that. So one-on-one, we pretty much try to like educate people too on why fashion is important. A lot of people feel like it's not important, but it's just you never know who you come across. You can be in a grocery store and just by chance run into somebody that may be into fashion. It's not always about what you're into, but sometimes the people that you're looking to connect, they're into fashion. A lot of people that's in the higher tier, they just a plain white t-shirt makes it. A Tom Ford t-shirt really makes sense. Not to the naked eye, but everybody ain't got the naked eye. Some people are in those tiers where you want to make connections and your mouthpiece ain't going to do it for you.
Right.
People need to see how you dress. People need to see the manner that you carry yourself. And we specialize in that. So it's like with one-on-one with OOO, we're really about like I don't like to use the term like black owned. I'm really a ghost behind everything, bro, because it's kind of like I just want people to see what good business look like. You find the person. You want to find out who the person is, just do your research and find out who the person is. But ultimately, we're just trying to elevate people in their psychology in the form of way that they dress. Like just teach people like, bro, it was like once I started dressing better and started dressing different, it was like I just felt like certain things I couldn't do no more. Like certain places I didn't want to go into more. I didn't want to be like low vibrational no more.
Right.
You might be thinking like, bro, I'm finna be cool tonight. I'm finna throw in the black tee. I'm finna throw in the jeans. I'm finna throw in the my Nike Pooh shiesty. And so force I'm just gonna call it a night. I'm just chilling. I'm just thugging. That thing you know you locked up because you done committed a murder. You didn't know the psychology of your clothes just kind of steered you in a direction that led to it. You got shot by being perpetrated at somebody else because of what you had on. Not knowing it's 2,000 other people look like you, but so you got to get away from it. It start with the psychology of what you decide to put on. That all that really matters. So that's what we be standing on. So like right now, it's like before you become an artist, before you become anything, it's like just educating people on how to dress or how to put their stuff together. Cause it's like you just never know.
And I'm one of those that never knew.
No, and that's okay.
Like honestly, you see, I walk in here some joggers.
But but see, it matters when it fits the occasion.
Right. No, that's
You know what I'm
real.
saying?
That's real.
But
And from that perspective, it's like, man,
yeah. But with that, the reason it's so important because it's like, bro, to be honest with you, I dress a certain way where I don't go to Walmart. I don't go to Kroger. I don't go to any place where they tell you save money because I know the tier of people that's going to be in these places, and I'm not trying to be funny. Think about the baby. Where the baby person at?
Walmart.
Couldn't have been Target.
Mm.
I dress a little different than Target, but I know people that understand that shopping is a pleasure. They gonna be in Publix. They gonna be in Target. They be in these type of facilities to where even the way you dress, it's like it's more manageable. Hey, oh, you look pleasant. Thank you. I appreciate that. No, you mind if I ask what you do? I'm a fashion designer. Oh, wow. I do such and such on set of this, that, and next thing you know, you're making a connection in Target. You might have been like, oh man, I could have went to Walmart where it was cheaper. But you made a connection in Target where it was a little more expensive because people who are not trying to worry about people who saving, they just in a different lane. But it all starts with how you dress. Fresh as hell, I'm not going to Walmart. I'm just not going to Walmart. Fresh as hell, I'm definitely going to Target. They got Starbucks. You know what I'm saying? Like it's different, bro. But people, we don't be knowing that because it's like we don't condition our minds to think that way.
Dig it.
And it's like it's a lot bigger than just thinking on how to save.
Dig it. Now, when you put it that way, I see value in that.
Yes.
I ain't gonna lie, I never thought of that before then. When you hit comment section gonna go crazy when you just
It makes a
off
lot
what
of
you just
sense,
said.
bro.
But
It
no,
makes
that's I
sense.
mean, I say even back to even like when you was talking about being in school, you wore suits in school. Before the deal, you were renting sprinters. Like I feel like you were preparing your mind for where you're
Yes,
going
you got
opposed to
to.
where you're at.
You got to. I would never tell nobody like, it's like don't spend your money on stupid stuff, but do enjoy the luxuries. If you get a couple dollars that you could save, go to Miami, bro. Get you a condo, and pretend. It's okay to pretend like this high rise is yours because you have to live in that moment. Now, I'm not saying don't make it a habit of just pretending like you got it,
Right.
but enjoy. Like when I was broke, when I was homeless, bro, I would steal cars, bro, and drive to Buckhead and pull up in big house like neighborhoods with big houses and just sit in the driveway for like 2 seconds. Cause I used to always tell myself, like, one day somebody big is gonna be expecting me. I gotta look at these houses. Like I had to just put myself in those places. And it's like it's okay to put yourself in these places. Like, I wouldn't tell people like you gotta wear designer shoes, you gotta wear high end. You don't have to live in a high end lifestyle. But I feel like why you here on earth, want more for yourself. Just want more for yourself, dog. Cause ain't nobody else gonna want more for you than you.
That's
You
real.
gotta want more for yourself. So
And can't nobody want it more for you than you.
there you go.
That's real. So how did you transition into the fashion industry come about?
Um, Honestly, I was trying to figure out like what was it when I just really started catching on to what was going on with the music game and stuff like that. I wasn't upset about it. I just had to learn business was business, and I was just kind of like, I hate to say it, but it's like, man, music ain't doing what it was doing, bro. For nobody. No disrespect. And it ain't that people are, it's just social media came about. People want to see people want to see what they can hear now.
Mm-hmm.
So it ain't, it cut down on a lot of organic streams where people would run into iTunes or Spotify or whatever, like, yo, I'm finna just listen to music. Like it cut down. People gonna jump on social media first. So
Right.
in the midst of I kind of was like, well, I was just thinking about a lot of different things, and upon going to therapy and stuff like that, I learned to like really start questioning stuff. So I always question myself on why didn't I get into the fashion business, and then my answer steered pretty much from, my dad. I grew up homophobic. my dad was just like, it was like, and that's also a lot of reason I stayed in trouble for a lot of stuff, like fighting all the time. Like my dad just felt like if I was too good for too long, then I'm acting like a girl. So it was like I got to get into a fight. Every 2 weeks, like, oh man, time ain't going by, I ain't been in no trouble. I gotta do something. And I realized I ain't never touched a sewing machine or thought about making no clothes. Cause I remember the last time I customized some shoes, I had customized some gold forces. I spray painted them gold, put the glitter on them, all kind of stuff. And like the only memory I had was like, bro, my tailbone was, man, I sat in the corner for like 8 hours because I was heading out to school, go hop on the bus, and my dad seen him and was like, boy, you think you is Michael Jackson or whatever? Like,
Right.
for him, it was he ain't like the look of it. It was too girly. Man, went across my face, man, glitter and blood all on my face. Like them beat me, told me sit in the corner. So I had to sit in the corner from when school started all the way till my sister came home from school. Man, like it was just, and from then I was just like, yeah, I'm just gonna dress fresh. So I
Gotcha.
ain't really get into. I was making clothes in high school though, but the clothes I was making when we had like at that time we had like Mesquite. So like every time they came out with the Jordans, I was doing stuff where I was taking the fabric paint and putting it all on the shirt to make it match the J's and stuff like that. So it was like that was a good little hustle because I was selling shirts like $40, and every time Jordan dropped some shoes, everybody wanted a shirt to go with the shoes. So that was like some good side money like that. But yeah, it was just like just really reevaluating myself, getting back to my youth and the things that I really enjoy. I just was like, man. Late last year, I decided I was like, yo, I'm finna see what's up with this, with a sewing machine, and I bought me a sewing machine. Uh, Took a course, and it was just like, bro, like from there, I just been learning and growing ever since. I got a shout out my seamstress, love her to death, Nicole, like do all my custom pieces in there. It was just, I don't know, bro. It's just like it was with ease. I can do it in my sleep. I love it. So
Right. So easy transition.
yes,
From an insider's point of view, what is the fashion industry like in Atlanta?
the who?
The fashion industry. What is the fashion industry like in Atlanta?
I don't. This where it come down where it's hard being like transition from an artist to a business owner because the artist side speak your truth, the business side put everything in perspective. Um,
Next question.
Let me start. Nah, I'm gonna say this. I love Atlanta. I love Atlanta. I love Atlanta. I love the people of Atlanta. Atlanta has always been my heart. Always will be my heart. Respectfully, coming from a fashion state place, I ain't never like Atlanta fashion. It and only reason why I'm saying that is there are certain people that I can say I can give a lot of respect to who really did do their own thing. I paid attention, and I go ahead and say that name, Schoolie. A lot of respect from when I was young. I paid attention to his style. Coca Vanga. Um, Even I saw the interview with um, Bucci, Bankroll Bucci.
Yeah, he be fresh.
Yeah,
Yeah, he be putting it
Yeah,
on.
yeah, but I mean that was even a middle school thing. Like I never, he probably don't even remember this. We was in like sixth grade. Home came through with the Coogee sweat, like the Coogee fit, and he got on the bus. I was blown away. I was in the fashion, but I just ain't.
Right.
That was different,
Right.
and it was like it never stopped for him. Now we do have some iconic people who set their own trends and their own tones with how they put clothes on, and I'm not saying that everybody don't. I love the way a lot of like the rappers do put stuff together. Just paying attention to the originality, a lot of it don't come from Atlanta. We don't really have New York known for like Tim's, Bubbleco. A lot of what we do is the kind of known from New York, and they don't want to say it, but I'm just gonna openly say it. Some places you gotta look at, like LA has their own style. Even like DC had their own style. I'm not a fan of DC the way DC, but they do have a style in the DMV. Different parts have Texas has their own style. Atlanta kind of embrace some of everything, know how to put it together and make it look like something. And I respect it
Dig it.
because you got some people who know how to do it. Overall though, I'm just not a fan. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Okay.
That's just me. Um I do admire, like, a lot of people I do look up to. I do look up to Thug. I look up to Future. Um, when it comes to and even now, despite like the allegations, I like the way Gunna dressed. Like, there are certain people who they exude the confidence that come with fashion. It ain't just like I put on an outfit. I like the way Lil Baby dress. I like the way Lil Baby dress, but I'm talking about people who I feel like actually be like, I don't give a damn. This is what I'm doing, and I even if it's pushing them boundaries, they do it effortlessly. Like, for me, the number one person I would say is Thug. For me, I just like it. I love it. Like the confidence that come with it. Fashion is confidence. You ain't putting nothing on if you ain't got no. I don't care how fresh a fit is. If you not wearing it like you own it, like this is what I'm doing, it is like you not really doing it. Tyler the Creator, Pharrell, ASAP Rocky, like those are just like a couple of guys to name that I just kind of like, and it's something that we don't even that's not really on the radar as far as like musically, but everything really exudes from confidence. So the confidence you have, you could if it's ugly, but you wear the confidence with it. I just know it's like you could tell with people that's what fashion is. It's the
Dig it.
confidence.
Dig it.
Yeah.
Without giving too much of your sauce away,
Mm.
what's your designing process?
Um, right now, so I like most Americans today, I suffer severely from ADHD. So I try to stay along the lines of like staying within the color palette and stuff like that, but I'm also a colorful person. I like to express myself. So I like to create I believe that energy is transferable and it can be transferable through fabrics. So in a space that a lot of people are unable to see, like water, especially people in Atlanta, we don't have beaches and stuff like that.
Right.
I might make a lot of pieces that have that deal with like beaches or um um bro, I it's so hard because it be all over. Like, I mean, I really can't give you exactly what it is. I I more so just I think a lot of what I do too is try to bring forth what people don't get to see in their everyday life, but what I know once they see it, it'll make them happy. So whether you wearing it or whether you're just the person viewing it, um, I have a set of pants that I did called Miami Nights, where there's a girl in the water, a yacht behind her, palm trees and stuff like that. Again, we don't have beaches in Atlanta.
Right.
So when people see the pants, it's just kind of like, oh my God, it's a breath of fresh air. It takes you to the beach automatically. So it's like we play on the psychology of trying to bring happiness like in the smallest element of, again, whether it's people wearing it, whether we're making you like a custom style outfit that might resemble something that's highly expensive, whether it's like people just speaking on the outfit in behalf, whether it's people seeing the outfit, whatever comes to mind that exudes happiness, I just try to put it toward the fabric, bro, and put it together and just bring the world like a little bit more peace of happiness.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
That's what's up. Fashion, much like music, is yet another way to express yourself.
Mm.
Considering just these two methods, fashion and the music, which one do you feel like you're able to express yourself better, through fashion or through music?
Right now, I say fashion. I don't have to say nothing. You don't have to say nothing. It's just like the piece in itself just like speak for how you feel. I know when I was doing music, um, not only was I had a thing where the ski mask was my thing, but the ski mask wasn't really my thing just because, like at that time with the label having full control, they wanted to attach it to the fact that I was a street person who was robbing.
Right.
So that's what it worked for. But I really wanted it because I wanted to not have to show my mouth so much. I wanted to be a person that didn't have to be as verbal unless I decided to rap. And I mean, we see how that turned out. It didn't really work out too well for me. But however, I'm in a space now where it's like I don't have to see people and I can be just as happy and make other people happy by producing items that they want to pay for. And then when they go out, they get compliments, and the people that see them, it makes them happy. So it's like that work. But um, I also think that that's it's a little hard because the music aspect and the music side motivated a lot of people. And I think that, like, if I stop it, when I get away from being selfish and look at like what the music was doing for other people and the things that it was helping people get through, it was like I almost feel like it's just as wrong if I stopped doing music because I wasn't seeing the finance, like I wasn't seeing the financial success coming from it, when it was actually a bigger calling, because it's kind of like I don't know who I was touching. I don't know who needed to cry to the music. I don't know who needed to know, dang, bro, really relate to what I got going on, bro, speaking to my soul, bro, helping me get through, because that's what it ultimately was for. And it was like I just got caught up in realizing, like, now in the midst of growing, I'm now having expenses that I can't pay for. So I just neglected it altogether, when
Gotcha.
that might not have been something I was supposed to do. So I enjoy the fashion side, but I'm very heavily contemplating on, my boy called me yesterday, said, well, you can't keep doing that, bro. Drop the music, bro. And so, yeah.
I mean, I feel like we live in an era now where, let's just be honest, you still have name value.
Yeah.
You could pull up in the studio right now
And do something.
record,
Yeah.
even if it's a single,
Yeah.
and post it on Spotify, post it on Apple Music. And no, it may not necessarily bring in the financial success as if, like, say, Lil Baby drops,
Right, for sure.
but it's gonna get some tracks.
Right.
It's gonna get some listeners,
Right.
and you really don't have to invest much in it, let alone the yearly requirement from, like, United Masters to upload it.
Yep.
So
Yep.
I'm not telling you what to do.
Yeah, I get
I
it.
just wouldn't be mad
I get
if
it.
you were to go do it.
Yeah,
You dig what I'm
for
saying?
sure.
I don't feel like it'll take too much
For
away
sure.
from you as a father, as a fashion designer, as a husband, to do that.
For
Because
sure.
clearly, let's just be honest.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, we're sitting here based upon what you've done as an artist.
Right.
I.e., whatever way it went, there's millions of rappers who didn't even reach the level that you reached as an artist. So yeah, maybe you shouldn't be selfish and drop a track every now and then.
Yeah.
You dig
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
On a personal level, as far as things you created or designed up until this point,
Mhm.
what is your favorite piece that you've designed?
Mm. Um, Honestly, I ain't gonna lie. It's hard to say I have one, because everything I create, one, it has meaning, and two, I can't hold on to it, because once I make it my favorite, I want to keep it. It's not meant for that. It's like, I make stuff for the sheer joy of, like, again, like, instilling happiness in other people. Like, I love what I create, but I also love to see the other person happy with it. And I probably won't get rid of it if it become so I think every next piece becomes like my favorite piece, because I have to put my all into it. Like, and I have to always remember, like, every time I create, I'm never in a sad space of creating. Like, I can't be, because I believe energy is transferable. So it's like, if I'm touching these garments, I can't be putting like depressed energy. I want people to wear these clothes, and I don't know if you get money. I don't know if you get saved. I don't know if you find a lost relative. I don't know if you mend a broken relationship. I don't know what happened, but I want some good to come out of it and be based off that transfer energy. So I don't know. All my pieces be my favorite. They're my babies. I love
Hey,
everything I do.
that makes sense. Honestly, that makes sense. Um, when it comes to the fashion industry, how does someone track their success? Like, when it comes to music, you can judge the success by, like, popularity, hearing a song certain places. But how does someone in the fashion industry judge their success when it comes to fashion?
I think a lot of people have different ways that they do it. I know for me, mine is one, confirmation. Um, Whether it's like, like, shout out Reggie Bullock. That's like one of my number one supporters. He played for the Rockets. He played for a multitude of teams. You know, when people call you, whether it's for orders, whether people are wearing it, it's just that confirmation where it's the small things. Like if you get caught up on your success, you might not. It can cripple you. Sometimes people stay in that position because it's like, oh my God, I don't ever want to leave here. So they don't aim for higher reach. And then you get other people who kind of so stuck in the higher reach that they don't realize where they are is further than where they were yesterday.
Right.
So I don't really get caught up on it. It's just a confirmation of like when people place orders, yeah, that's really it for me. Them orders being placed is just everything.
Dig it.
It just lets you know, like, you know, you growing. Like, I ain't too big, but I ain't small.
Right.
I ain't not making nothing. So thank God, like something is working out in my favor.
No, that makes sense.
For sure.
That makes sense. So this part, what I like to do is, I know you've seen it. I posted on social media. Let people know prior that we're gonna do an interview with you.
For sure.
And if they had any questions for you, we'll read the questions on the show and you answer honestly as possible.
Okay.
So right now, what we're gonna do, we're gonna start with the first person. His name is HD Fats, and this is on Instagram. He said he wants to know how you continue to be successful and balance your work and family.
Hmm. Um, well, I just make my work my family. And um I continue to operate off of pure intentions again. Like I don't have no ill intent to come up off of nobody. God is my sole provider. That's who I rely on. I don't got no fear for no man because it's kind of like you gotta go through God to see me. So it's like I trust solely in Him, and it's just kind of like I put so much pressure on God to where it's like, God, you can't let me down because I'm telling people who it is. So if I fail and I'm doing it in your name, don't be mad at me if people don't believe in you, because I said it came from you, and I meant that. Like my pure intentions, like everything is pure intention. So it's like it's actually it's hard, but I have all honest conversations. Like I let my family know straight up. Like I don't try to figure out what society is going to accept. If I'm not willing to make certain time, like my kids know, like I'm not going to be there for every graduation. I'm not going to be there for every birthday. I'm not going to be there. But this is what comes with the lifestyle that I'm working for us to have. Like they know I'm like a private jet kind of guy. Like travel other countries. They know it's like ain't nothing small in my book. So it's like I know what come with that, and I don't give in to what y'all emotions gonna be if y'all miss out on that. Like if I miss out on something. And they understand that. So it's like knowing that you just gotta be honest with yourself. I have certain obligations I'm just not willing to compromise when it comes to chasing success. And I love them. They get it. Like they just know what come with me.
Dig
Yeah.
it. Next question. Major got it. He said, do you have survivor's remorse? Now, I got some context behind that question if you need it, but I don't know if you already know offhand what he's talking about.
Oh no, I'm sure you're probably talking about like with the situation.
Uh, as far as what situation?
Like the music situation.
Well, according for going further in depth, uh, you've been the person you are, not even so much of the music, but making it out of your childhood and making it into the person you are now. People that you because essentially he knows that you like to help people.
Yes.
So when you can't help people, do you deal with survivor's remorse? Like, okay, I tried my best to help them, but
Yeah, that's all it be.
yeah. But do you deal with survivor's remorse concerning that?
No, not really, because I feel like again I go back to pure intention. I just don't be knowing what God got for you. So it's kind of like if I can't help you, and I don't know. I'm not gonna say it's you, but I just don't know what God got for people. So it's like I can't hold on to other people because it becomes anxiety for me. I ain't taking on no anxiety for nobody else. I just do my part and like whatever I feel like God lay on my heart. If God don't lay on my heart to help, I just won't, and I won't feel bad about it because it's just like whatever it was, it didn't come to my heart to help. So I ain't. It is what it is. Like yeah.
Makes sense. Uh, Janae Marie Makeup. Uh, she wants to know: is there something you learned from the music business that you're applying in the fashion industry?
Yes. Oh yes. Um don't let nobody steal your like. Don't don't ever get people to control. Be able to listen, but without giving people control over what you decide to do. So if somebody give me advice and say what I should do, I don't feel bad if I don't take their advice.
Gotcha.
Um, Stay in control at all times. If your intentions are pure, if you got pure intentions, like God ain't gonna let you lead, like go the wrong way. You might make a little mistake, but it ain't gonna be nothing that's gonna take you far off your course.
Gotcha. Gotcha. First Lady Diana underscore. She wants to know when will your clothing line be in stores? If it will be, uh, will you make female clothing? Uh, Also, will you use music to push your clothing line because she believes it's very unique and it stands out?
Yeah, thank you, thank you. Um, so no, I don't plan on taking the route of putting it in stores. I mean, if God allows that to happen, then maybe. But we kind of breaking the tradition. Like I never do a storefront. Like from here, this the So House, but from here we plan to grow and then go get a mansion and make the So House mansion, So House penthouse. It just we never gonna go the store route. Like we just have our clients either pull up here, we ship it out or whatever. But I mean, we just don't know. I just feel like we coming at a time where again we breaking tradition. The house is just a little different because I feel like it's just a more homely vibe. I want everybody to feel it. Like when you come here, I want you to know like this is your place. Like,
Right.
we cook, we open bar, all kind of stuff. Like it's music. This your place to like, yeah. So making
That's
something new. That's what we're doing. Female clothing, we definitely make. I don't promote the female clothes as much, but we definitely do custom pieces for women already. And I actually just had a talk with my boy about this, but we try to figure out how to merge what a lot of people don't know, there is a lane in fashion with music where it's like they listen to certain artists, like, and not all of them, like, some people like, and I'm gonna use this example again. Gunna is one of them people who made that crossover from a rapper to like, if you go into a lot of fashion houses or places where they're making clothes and stuff like that, a lot of people are playing Gunna as like a fashion
okay.
artist.
Gotcha.
Like, so it's kind of like there's a lane for that. And like within that lane, it ain't talking about like guns, it ain't all this like drug promotion, it ain't street business. It's fashion. Like it's
Right.
like what it feels like, the vibes, like it's that type of lane. So yeah, I am working to incorporate that, but I just kind of feel like with my ADHD, I need to focus on honing in on one thing, making sure I got that locked in. So it's like, I ain't back and forth juggling businesses.
Dig it. Dig it. Next question. I don't know how to pronounce it, so I'm just going to spell it out. VSCENSION underscore. What fabric are you most excited to work with in the new year?
Ah, um, that's a good question. Man, I work with everything, so I can't even answer that one. Anything exotic that people don't know about yet.
Dig it. Dig it. Uh, One E Herd wants to know when is the tape dropping?
Mm-mm. Uh, let's see. We working on that. I would say, what's this, January?
Yep.
I predict February,
Okay.
February 25.
Y'all heard it here first. I dig it. He also wants to know how was it having a hit song?
It was different. Having a hit song, you feel the ups, but you also feel that pressure because having a hit song is where you learn that it takes more than just having a hit song. Gotta have a good team, gotta have your business in order because that song feel good, but that pressure don't. That pressure be on you. You be like, man, you gotta be in the club, bro. Broke as hell, like, but wear it like you ain't. Like, that's a real thing.
Dig it.
I'm grateful.
Now, you said February. Have you been in the studios? Is the track done? Or you gonna get in the studio?
Well, to be honest with you, bro, I ain't gonna lie. I actually talked to my boy and bro, to be honest, I got like 250 songs that's just unreleased.
Okay.
Some of them I feel like they just a little. I feel like they dated because it's like I don't sound the same. Like, so, you know, as you evolve, you just don't want to sound like I'm not the 2018, 2019, 2020 Euro.
Dig it.
So some of them is like, I don't know. It was like it would have been perfect for its time. I got a lot of classes that didn't get released because it was kind of like, you know, I was controlled at that time, so
I dig it.
couldn't drop what I wanted to drop.
Okay. But February.
February, yes, sir.
All right. Sean_Island24. He wants to know why haven't you dropped any new music? He said the fashion's cool, you're doing your big one, but the fans want to see him drop more music. So what's the deal with the music? I feel like you answered that already, but
Yeah,
if you
but
want to
I
go more in
still,
depth, you can.
honestly, bro, it was just kind of like the music was looking good for people, but it wasn't paying. Having a family, I got to secure my business, get my business squared away so I can be comfortable with even making music, because it's hard to be in the studio knowing you behind on so much stuff. And chances are you might not eat off this music. You're more than likely won't eat off the music that you're making. Fans today are a little different than fans before. I feel like people still care about you, but back when people had to come to shows, back when like it was like you were in high demand, then you just a DM. When you just a DM away, your fans, it's enough to just come like something on your page. Maybe leave a comment, maybe share it, and that's it. And that don't translate to money in your pocket. So I will get back in there. I'm in that space to where it's like I'm grateful enough to be like, yeah, I can start motivating people again. But I just kind of got to make sure this business locked down. So when I come back, I do want to educate people too. Like, hey, before you start doing this, don't be like what I did. Do this. Get your stuff together so you be in a happy position to make it happen.
Oh, that's real. That's real. Goat Barber 100. Who inspired you to get into fashion?
Honestly, I think my dad, cause he was always fresh.
Okay.
Yeah, like even when he wanted my dad to go through them phases where like hustling, he might be bummy, but then he'll come back and be like put it on to remind me, like, bro, like I do this, right? I can do this. So it was like, yeah. From there, it was just kind of like watching iconic people that I felt like really put it on for real, for real. And then, yeah, so I always been into it.
Dig it. Dejan_Dejan. How do you describe your personal style?
Um, I like to say upscale. Upscale. I love a good shirt and tie. I love I love a good shirt and tie. I don't let too many people in on this, but I'm gonna go ahead and say it. There was a show, and I like to catch fashion bits from different shows. I can't think of what this show was called, but the family was a mob family. The son had gotten dressed, and the dad had told the son, you know why certain basically you know why certain mob balls don't wear ties. And he said you could always tell the person in charge by the person not wearing the tie. The person who got the shirt open, got their shirt unbuttoned. So I was like, I kind of took that. So I be, when I'm popping out, I probably throw on the tie. But a lot of times if I'm going to a business meeting or something like that, I might not do a tie. A lot of the got there you go. That'll be rare.
That's
Gotta
what's
be.
up.
Yes, sir.
Millionaire McCoy.
Mhm.
What can we expect in 2025 from Euro?
Organization. I think I'm working on being more organized. 2023 was accountability. 2024 was action, and now 2025 is like organization. Because I did a lot of action in 2024, but not being organized, you do more running around than you do completing stuff. So I feel like once I get a little bit more organized, which I'm taking it year by year, step by step. So we taking accountability still. We still putting that action behind what we're gonna do, but then we get more organized with it.
Dig it. My last question. With that organization in the year 2025,
hmm
what's next currently for EuroGotit?
Next is just juggling all the like everything that I can do, bro. Like within this is only the fourth day of the 2025, and it's like already I ain't dropped no music 2024, and for some reason, like people didn't find that they weren't too happy about that.
Clearly.
It's the 4th day of January. Already I've been like the pressure been on about dropping music. So it's like utilizing everything that I have to do clothes, be a family man. It's like this what I asked for. I gotta execute.
That's right.
So you know what I mean? I can't let people down. These people that despite the fact I can take away from what the label did. Let's set the label to the side. The people that supported me gave me more than anything I ever had. These were people that accepted me not knowing me. These were the people that I was hoping was going to embrace me in high school. These people I was hoping was going to embrace me in the household, my parents. I'm getting that from strangers. So to neglect them for financial reasons, that's just not like, that's not right. So if I took that on and people were still like, bro, we need your hope, we need that, I gotta find a way to like say, hey God, look, I just need you, work with me. I'm trying to balance it all. I want to take care of my family. I still want to release music, take care of people and give them hope and inspiration. So let me do it all. So learn to get more organized so I can juggle it all. That's what we're doing.
Dig it.
We're dropping this year.
Dig it. Anything you like to add this before we get out of here?
Outside of letting people know, OOO Custom, upgrade your wardrobe. Don't be scared to reach out. Don't be scared. Like, we here for the people. We not here to like uh make people look bad. We here to elevate your style. And this ain't no selling point. This ain't to be persuasive. This is just the God honest truth. I know what it's like to not be able to afford the high-end clothes. I know what it's like not to be able to be in style. I know what it's like to not know what's going on. We're gonna take care of you here at OOO Custom. That's what we do. One-on-one. We're gonna set you apart, help you set the tone, help you be you. So don't be scared. OOO Customs, come check us out.
That's what it is.
Website and everything, yes.
That's what it is. Let everybody know where they can find you.
Yes,
and
sir.
everything you got going on online.
Yes, sir. I'm everywhere, OOO Custom. Hit me up if you want to email me, support@oocustom.com. OOO Custom website, the OOO Custom IG. My personal is EuroGotit, EuroGotit. Hey, man, we here. We here. Don't be scared to reach out. Let's make it happen.
Bro, I appreciate your time.
For sure, for sure.
Send my hellos to the family, bro. You officially been verified on the C&P network. I am Cornell the Shooter. And if y'all made it this far, y'all might as well go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and drop a comment in the comment section. Y'all be sure to go ahead and check out EuroGotit online. And man, we out.
We out. Let's go.